Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Pati Pavana Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Day 5 of Sri Ram-katha ki jai. Gotta get some stuff.
Can you make sure that you can see everyone okay?
I think you can give Srimati Radhika, allow her full skirt to show.
A little more, is that good?
That looks good. There we go.
Good morning!
Is it morning?
Well, Krishna Devi, Krishna Dasi,
Okay.
Krishna Devi Dasi.
Jai. Oh, yes, it's morning there.
Dandavat Pranam, Vaishnavas.
I forgot to put water on the mridanga, so I'll just be a moment. We are going to begin with Mangalacarana,
Jiva Pavana Prabhu is already posted.
the auspicious invocation, calling on the mercy, the grace, the sidelong glances, the presence of our beloved Gurudeva, our Srila Prabhupada, all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan Gaura Hari, going all the way back to the original Guru who is Krishna himself, and his Guru of Prem, Srimati Radhika. Radhikar Prema Guru, Ami Shishya Nata. So that is on page 1 of Sri Gauriya Giti Gucha. This beautiful bhajan treasure trove. Wow. Okay. And it starts with Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. And of course, Jiva Pavana Prabhu has already posted it. So if you do not have this and you would like to follow along, then you may just scroll to the most recent post of Jiva Pavana Prabhu at any time and you will find the bhajans posted there. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutatpadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadveta Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagano Lalita Shri Vishakhanditanshcha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunaishcha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tvang Shirashan Namami त्रिदन्दिनं भक्तशिरोमणिं च श्रीकृष्णपादाब्जयुतैकहृदि चैतन्यलीलामृतसारसारं नारायणं त्वं सततं प्रपद्ये। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय गौरप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीश्रीमार्भक्तिप्रज्ञान केशवयुक्ति नामिने। हतिमर्त्यचरित्राय स्वश्रितानाञ्चपालिने जीवदुःखे सदर्ताय श्रीनाम प्रेमदायिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वतीति नामिने। श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपाब्धये कृष्णसम्बन्धविज्ञान दयिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्योज्ज्वलप्रेमध्य श्रीरूपानुगभक्तिदा श्रीगौरकरुणाशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोऽस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनतारिणे रूपानुगविरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वन्तहारिणे। नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद्वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भरसम्बोधे पदम्बुजायते नमः। नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते। गौराविर्भावभूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सजनप्रिय वैष्णवः सर्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतोपङ्गोर्मम मन्दमतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदाम्बोजो राधामदनमोहनो दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमद श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेव प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रसरसारम्भी वंशीवततस्ततः कार्षन्वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रियैस्तु नः। वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarnam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Shwadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Nameva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dandavat Pranam, all Vaishnavas. When I was singing Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam, I remember being a little kid going out on Hare Nam in Westwood at night. It's in Los Angeles, in a shopping district, now business district. And back in those days, they had a very cute tune for Hare Nam Eva Kevalam. Like, Ha ha Hare Nama Eva Kevalam Kalo Nasteva Gatiranyata. And then also they used to sing in English for Jagannath, O Lord of the universe, something, and kindly be visible unto me. But I just remembered that tune when I was singing. I'm sure Devaki might remember that, Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Okay. And just before we began here, I saw and shared something from Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. And so I just want to share it with you so that, hold on. Because, well, Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj has, I don't know, he's definitely, he speaks the truth, but he does it in such a way that it's a difficult but digestible pill to swallow. And yet he's so sweet and beautiful that you accept it. Yes, this is truth, even though I might not like it. And because I have been branded as a Kirtaniya, meaning someone who sings Kirtan, these kind of quotes I like to think about and review quite often, if I can. I've seen quotes like this from Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, many quotes from our Gurudeva, from Prabhupada, from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, and from Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj. He said, doing Kirtan to show off, da 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 da. You know, when people are doing it on Mridanga, then everyone's like, hey, good Kirtaniya, very good Kirtaniya. I remember once there was one devotee who was doing that. It was, who was it? Kanai Brahmachari was singing Ohe Vaishnava Thakura at Imlitala. And in between, I mean, he was weeping. Tears were pouring from his eyes. And then he was glorifying the Vaishnavas. And there was one devotee who was playing Mridanga, and he knew the mantras for the Mridanga. And so when he would come to the end, he would like, and Gurudeva just looked at him and said, hey, like this. And he stopped. But he was singing it, like screaming it out loud, but it wasn't with the mood of the Kirtan. That devotee, Kanai Brahmachari, was just showering tears as he was singing Ohe Vaishnava Thakura and remembering the glories of his gurus. So Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj just said, oh, everyone's going to look, oh, very good Kirtaniya, very good Kirtaniya. for pratishta, for gaining name, fame, prestige. If that's why someone is doing kirtan, then Srila Gurudeva Maharaj is saying he is a cheater. Sampati kevala kaitava. This is from maybe Chaitanya Charitamrita. He is, yes, lecture on Adi Lila 17.8. He's a great cheater, not a Vaishnava. Kirtan should be done for the pleasure of Guru, Gauranga, for the pleasure of Krishna, not to show off, not to gain name, fame, prestige. He is not a Vaishnava. Tahar sampati kevala kaitava. Cheating, cheating. So, what is our purpose? Are we doing it for our own pleasure? Are we doing it to make a point? To prove something to someone? Well, I can do a kirtan and you can't stop me for doing it. Am I doing it for name, fame, for my prestige, for money? Why am I doing it? What is its purpose? At the least, one should be doing kirtan because Sri Guru has given the instruction to do it, that perhaps my Gurudev may be pleased by my endeavor. And of course, the real purpose of kirtan. Kirtan is mentioned in the 9 limbs of bhakti. Shravanam, kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam, padasevanam, archanam, vandanam, dasyam, sakyam, atmanivedanam. Iti pung sarpita Vishnu, bhaktischain navalakshanam, bhaktischain. The 9 intrinsic symptoms of bhakti mentioned. Of bhakti. So then if we apply the definition of bhakti, which is given by Rupa Goswami, the best definition of Uttama bhakti, anyabhilashita shunyam, jnana karmadhyanabritam, anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. If we apply that definition to all of the aspects of bhakti that we are doing, then we can know if we're actually doing kirtan or something else. If it is not for, if the purpose of my doing kirtan is for maybe attaining enlightenment into the divine nothingness, means impersonal liberation, or if the purpose of my doing kirtan is to receive that buzz. You know the buzz I'm talking about? When you just feel your whole body, even your hairs and everything's like wow, wow, and you feel like wow, that's amazing. That feeling, you know, we think that that's bhakti. It's a buzz, and people get it from so many different things. That's not the purpose of kirtan. Or to be in the bhav or whatever it is. If we endeavor to do kirtan to attract the attention of any beautiful males or females, look how good I am. If we do kirtan for any purpose, like, oh, perhaps if you like my kirtan, you'll give me money. You will pay me. Or name, fame, love, puja, pratishtha, for kanaka, kamani, and all of these other things. This is not kirtan. Kirtan, if we apply the definition of bhakti to it, must be exclusively for the pleasure of Guru, Gauranga, Radha, Krishna. Then it can be called kirtan. Otherwise, as Srila Gurudeva Maharaj says, it's just cheating. Now, it's not Srila Gurudeva Maharaj saying, actually it's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita stating, and he's repeating Shastra. And this is the function of Guru and Sadhu, to express Shastra. So, if we are singing and doing all of these things, there should be a focus. What is my purpose? That's why before we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra every single day, I remind myself, and maybe also you, what is our purpose? O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. This does not mean that some bliss won't come as a result of doing activities in bhakti. Bliss, ecstasies, and all of this can come. But if that bliss or those ecstasies which do come as a result of serving Krishna stop us in our seva or from being able to serve, what is the example we have seen in all of our Shastra? All of the divine personalities who are experiencing this transcendental ecstasy, if it has actually halted their ability to serve, they curse at that ecstasy. They say, damn this ecstasy which has stopped my service. Damn this ecstasy which has stopped my service. So the ecstasy is not the purpose for doing the kirtan. The ecstasy is a byproduct of doing real kirtan. Real kirtan has nothing to do with the feeling that I experience. Real kirtan has everything to do with how much pleasure and satisfaction we are able to provide to the object of our kirtan. And that is bhakti. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. So, with that in mind, because I just had read that quote, which I had never seen before, and I could just hear him saying it, and I've also remembered the quotes from Srila Bhakti Pramod Purima. Actually, I have a compilation of quotes about what is kirtan and what is not kirtan, which I made a few years back. Wow, must be almost 10 years now. And it's quite eye-opening. And I'm praying for the day when I will actually be able to do real kirtan. Like our Gurudev said, after you receive Harinam, your kirtan will become potent, but I'm still waiting to actually, truly receive Harinam. That means to serve Harinam Prabhu. That is Krishna himself, along with his potency. That is Radha Krishna, Harinamatuva Aneka Swarupa. So, with that, we will call out for the grace and mercy of Sri Gurudev. And because we were speaking on this particular subject, I'm thinking Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal. That is Shri Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Without the mercy of Gurudev, we cannot know what is our goal, so then we won't know who particularly that we should serve. In other words, we can't actually take a proper step on the path of bhakti without the mercy of Guru and Vaishnavas. That's why it is said, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kebala Bhakti Sadma. The only way to attain bhakti is by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Guru. That is the first step. And the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one of these 64 limbs of bhakti. The first 5 are all about taking shelter of Shri Guru. The 64 limbs of bhakti which have been mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami. So, Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal, page 359. Right? Kirtan is not, the purpose of kirtan is not to send away disease. The purpose of kirtan is not to thwart a lockdown. The purpose of kirtan is not for any other reason or purpose, kirtan, other than serving and pleasing Krishna. So if I'm doing kirtan to make any other point, then it can't really be considered kirtan, right? I'm doing it to thwart something. That's not the purpose of kirtan. Kirtan's purpose is to please Krishna. So please don't think that I'm making any criticism. I'm just talking about what is the definition of real kirtan. And if anyone's heart is approaching Krishna, is approaching Guru, is approaching Gauranga with that mood, that please engage me in your service. I want to please you. This is the purpose of my chanting your names. With that intention, then that can be considered kirtan, or maybe even some kind of kirtan abhas. If we're not quite there yet, the pure name is not there. Kabe habe bolo, seidina ama. When, oh when will that day come in my life? Aparadha guchi, when my aparads, All of my tendencies to make offenses in all different varieties will cease, and Shuddhaname Ruchi, the pure name of the Lord, will manifest in my heart, and I will have taste, Ruchi, for that pure name. That means, Ruchi for the name means the intense desire to love and serve Krishna. So, Guru Charana Kamal Bhajaman. Page 359. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. No Gita, not to protest the Nawab Hussain Shah. It was to serve the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is always for the purpose of pleasing Krishna. Mahaprabhu gave them the order. Before that, they did not do it. Mahaprabhu told them all to take torches and to do Kirtan, and they marched in that direction. But Mahaprabhu's purpose is Bhagavan's purpose. He is the Lord. And all of the devotees, they followed his instruction and his order. So their Kirtan was serving the order of the Lord. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. 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 Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Guru Kripa Bina Nahi koi sadhan navan. Guru Kripa Bina Nahi koi sadhan navan. Bhajamano bhaja anukshan. Bhajamano bhaja anukshan. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Diltano hi esa durlabha jana. Diltano hi esa durlabha jana. Brahmatahu chodaha bhuvan. Brahmatahu chodaha bhuvan. किसी को मिलते हैं अहो भाग्यों से. किसी को मिलते हैं अहो भाग्यों से. हरि भक्तों के दर्शन. हरि भक्तों के दर्शन. Shri Guru patitam pavan Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Shruti Smriti Itihas Puranon Mahi Shruti Smriti Itihas Puranon Mahi Ino Spashta Praman Ino Spashta Praman Tanamana Jivano Gurupade Arpano Tanamana Jivano Gurupade Arpano Sada Harinamaratam Sada Harinamaratam Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman E Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Gurudeva Jai Gurudeva Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Parampara Guru Parampara Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Thank you, Krishnadasi. Yes, that was a very good question, actually. Quite a good question. Gita always asks good questions. Very thought-provoking. Everyone asks good questions. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, I have found that no question is a bad question. If someone is serious or sincere and they're asking a question, even if it's a very seemingly simple one, usually they're pretty good. So questions are always appreciated. They also help me to dive deep into what I have heard from my Gurudev and my Guru Varga and from Shastra, and to meditate on these subject matters. So now we're going to call out for the mercy of the Vaishnavas. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, page 39. By Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyar Sagaro, এ দাসে করুণা করি। বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর, এ দাসে করুণা করি। দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধো হে আমারে, তোমার চরণ ধরি। দিয়া পদ ছায়া শোধো হে আমারে, তোমার চরণ ধরি। তোমার চরণ ধরি। তোমার চরণ ধরি। ও ছায় বেগ দমি, ছায় দোষ শোধি, ছায় গুণ দেহ দাসে। ছায় বেগ দমি, ছায় দোষ শোধি, ছায় গুণ দেহ দাসে। ছয় শত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে, বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। ছয় শত সঙ্গ দেহ হে আমারে, বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। বসেছি সঙ্গের আসে। ও একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব, হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে। একাকী আমার নাহি পাইব, হরি নাম সংকীর্তনে। তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া, তুমি কৃপা করি শ্রদ্ধা বিন্দু দিয়া, দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে। ও দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে। দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে। দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধনে। ও কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো, তোমারও শক্তি আছে। ও কৃষ্ণ সে তোমার কৃষ্ণ দিতে পারো, তোমারও শক্তি আছে। আমি তো গঙ্গা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি, আমি তো গঙ্গা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি, ধাই তব পাছে পাছে। ধাই তব পাছে পাছে। ধাই তব পাছে পাছে। ধাই তব পাছে পাছে। ওহে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর, এ দাসে করুণা করি। বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়ার সাগর, এ দাসে karuna kori. Vaishnava Thakura Jaya Vaishnava Thakura. Vaishnava Thakura Jaya Vaishnava Thakura. Jaya Vaishnava Thakura. Vaishnava Thakura Jaya Vaishnava Thakura. Jaya Vaishnava Thakura. Prabhu kripa koro more doya koro. 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 All Vaishnava Thakurs ki Jai. As we were doing this bhajan, I saw this third verse. Ekaki amar nahi paibal harinam sankirtane. On my own I have no strength to do harinam sankirtan. And the first tendency within me is, of course I can do it. Watch. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What does this mean? Here he is praying, give me your mercy, give me just one drop of Shraddha. Shraddha, transcendental faith, not just any kind of belief, but actually a particle of prem in the form of Shraddha. Deho Krishna Namadhane. There's a difference between the external sound vibration that we may make and the transcendental sound vibration that is non-different from Krishna himself. Otherwise, we would not have the conceptions of Nam Aparad, Namabhas, and Shuddhanam. So our acharyas, specifically Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, have spoken about this particular subject. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said there's a very big difference between making a noise and making a noise with potency. In other words, if you load a gun with a bullet that has no lead, means no projectile, just the gunpowder, then what you have is a loud firecracker. It makes a noise, but there's no potency. And so that name which has potency will have effect. And of course, for us in our stage, in the beginning, maybe it's a little weak, but like for someone who is jaundiced, gradually over time, the purity will begin to manifest if we are in the proper association. So I was thinking about that in terms of what we were just discussing, that on my own I have no strength to even chant the holy names of the Lord. I'm depending upon mercy to awaken Paramarthik Shraddha, transcendental faith, which really means to develop a mood of surrender to Krishna. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam, accepting everything favorable, rejecting everything unfavorable for bhakti, accepting that Krishna is my only protector, my only maintainer, with deep humility, surrendering my very everything, my mind, body, words, life, and everything at the lotus feet of the Lord. These are the intrinsic symptoms of Shraddha. Satya Sharanapati Lakshana. Lakshana means symptoms, such as Sharanapati or Sharanagati, same. So this is faith. The symptoms of Shraddha are the symptoms of Sharanagati. In other words, it is the doorway to Bhakti. The doorway to Bhakti. And so I'm remembering also one time our Gurudeva told us, and I've shared this maybe once before or in the whole last year, maybe twice, I'm not sure. Once, way back in the day, when our Gurudev was a new devotee, you can say, at that time, may have even been in his village. At that time, someone said, oh, there's a sadhu there. Someone's son was bitten by a snake and that boy died. And Gurudev was there chanting, remembering Krishna and chanting the holy names. And they went to him, hey, Sadhu Baba, can you help our son, help our son? And they were petitioning, weeping, crying, and begging, please help our son. So he told, I went there, I chanted Harinam in his ear, and immediately he came out of this. Gurudev said, then I repented, and I regretted, what have I done? What have I done? I have used the Lord in the service of some mundane situation. What have I done? And so he said from that day, never again did he use the holy name for any mundane purpose. We should not try to use Krishna for any mundane situation. Rather, we should use everything else somehow in the service of Krishna. That is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. If we're trying to use Krishna in our service, it's reversed. God, give me this. God, do this for me. God, I'm praying to you. Let me win the lottery. Give me health. Give me wealth. Give me all kinds of material facility. God, give me, give me, give me. But the devotee does not have this mood. What does Bhakta Prahlad say to Narasimhadev Bhagavan? I don't want anything. You are my eternal master and I am your eternal servant. I'm not a businessman who is calling your name and serving you so that you will give me something in return. My eternal function is to love you, is to serve you. That's how Prahlad responded to Sri Narasimhadev Bhagavan. I am not a businessman, he said. I'm not a merchant. Same thing. So, Krishna consciousness is dovetailing that. Instead of utilizing the Lord and everything in the service of my senses, or the senses of others in this world, completely reversing it, flipping it over, utilizing my senses and encouraging everyone else to utilize their senses in the service of the Lord. Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam Bhaktir Uchyate. So that is a powerful indication what our Gurudev gave, and he's sharing it as an example that we should not utilize Harinam for any mundane thing of this world. That's why even when someone's really sick, what do we pray for? We pray that they can become healthy so that they can serve Krishna for Krishna's happiness, for Krishna's pleasure, and for the benefit of that jiva, that they can engage eternally in the service of Krishna. Not just to make anyone healthy, but for the awakening of their bhakti. This human form of life is so valuable. This human form of life is so rare. And if someone has passed away, we also pray. May they attain the association of Vaishnavas so that they can rapidly progress on the path of devotion, so that they can serve Guru Gauranga Radha and Krishna. So dovetailing all of that in the service of Krishna. Always trying to be conscious of Krishna as our master, so to speak. And especially Srimati Radhika, she is our Swamini. So shifting that consciousness from self-serving toward Krishna serving. And Mahaprabhu himself also exemplifies this, especially in Sri Shikshashtakam, but again and again and again, this same conclusion or emotion keeps manifesting, showing us, teaching us to withdraw our tendency to be materially self-serving and rather to, how do you say? Yukta Vairagya. Myself, offer myself and everything that comes in relation to me in the feet of Krishna. As Bhaktivedanta Thakur states, Manasa deho geho, jo kichu mor, arpilu tuapade, nanda kishor. Manasa, mind, deho, body, geho, family, jo kichu mor, arpilu tuapade, and everything else in relation to me. I'm offering everything at your lotus feet, O Nanda Kishore. So it's a very beautiful moods that our acharyas are giving us. Now we will call for the mercy and grace of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Suniyachi Sadhu Mukhe Bole Sarvajan by Srila Narottam Das Thakur, page 51. Suniyachi Sadhu Mukhe Bole Sarvo Jan Shri Rupa Kripayo Mile Jugala Charana Suniyachi Sadhu Mukhe Bole Sarva Jana Shri Rupa Kripayo Mile Jugala Charana Ha Prabhu Sanatana Gaura Parivaro Ha Prabhu Sanatana Gaura Parivaro Sabe Mili Vancha Purna Goroho Amaro Sabe Mili Vancha Purna Goroho Amaro Shri Rupero Kripa Jeno Ama Prati Hoya Shri Rupero Kripa Jeno Ama Prati Hoya Se Padoya Shrayo Jar Se Mahashrayo Se Padoya Shrayo Jar Se Mahashrayo Prabhu Lokanatho Kabe Sange Loya Jabe Prabhu Lokanatho Kabe Sange Loya Jabe Shri Rupero Pado Padme More Samarpive Shri Rupero Pado Padme More Samarpive Enoki Hoibe Moro Narma Sakhi Gane Enoki Hoibe Moro Narma Sakhi Gane Anugato Narotame Koribe Shasane Anugato Narotame Koribe Shasane Suniyachi Sadhu Mukhe Bole Sarva Jana Shri Rupa Kripayo Mile Jugala Charana Suniyachi Sadhu Mukhe Bole Sarva Jana Shri Rupa Kripayo Mile Goswami Pad Ki Jai, Shri Sanatana Goswami Pad Ki Jai, Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri. Okay. Sudevi? Can you pull the camera back just a little bit so the drum can be slightly seen? There you go.
Is that good or not?
Usually it's okay in that
I
position.
don't know if it's, I can't see it good. I think it's,
Oh, maybe after.
maybe that's better.
There you go. Here, thank you.
It's not going to move.
Should be okay.
Jivapan has a question mark there. I don't know what's happening.
Shiva Pavana Prabhu has a question mark? Oh. As Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakura states, Jiva Pavana Prabhu, can you post the quote, please? Oh, maybe she's referring to Manasa Deho Geho Joki Chumor. That's a bhajan which is in our songbook, but we're not going to sing it today. Okay, now we're going to call for the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Page 163. 163. I don't believe that I completed the point that Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj had made. He said we're not after the dead sound. We're after the living force. Yes, so two things, there's two comparisons. One was blank bullets, which means there's no lead, it's just the gunpowder, which makes a lot of noise but there's no potency. And the other one is a woman who goes to the maternity ward and is making all of the sounds and breathing as if she's having a baby, except she's not pregnant. So a lot of sound is there, a lot of noise is there, but there's no result. And so if we want there to be the proper result of Harinam, then Golokera Prema Dhana Harinama Sankirtana. That Harinam which is manifesting from the lips of the pure devotees, when they place that in our ear, into our heart, and it's a treasure hunt, so to speak. We find that beautiful treasure. Golokera Prema Dhana. It is the wealth or the treasure of Prem from Goloka Vrindavan. At that point in time, from that Harinam that we receive, that is the pure name of Krishna. And then when we begin to serve that Krishna, in essence, the pure name will begin to manifest. The pure name manifests, meaning serving Krishna is manifesting. So there's a difference between the dead sound, which you can find in a lot of places. So many people are doing Kirtan, but it is said by many of our acharyas that even being in that vicinity or hearing that, if their mood is against Krishna, aparad, mayavad, if they're speaking about Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes, but their purpose or intention is only full of material desires, kanaka kamani pratishta, then what is the result? It's not necessarily favorable. For anyone who might be completely ignorant and they have not ever had any experience of mantra, maybe it might awaken something. Ooh, something is there. Let me search more. Let me search more. For a devotee who knows better, who has experience of Sri Guru, who has experience of Sri Harinam Prabhu, who has experience and understanding of something, of Shastra, to then go and take association, which is unfavorable for bhakti, this would be considered asatsanga, and it would be actually detrimental for bhakti. So it's interesting how the same thing for one person might actually help to awaken something, and for someone who is more awake, it can help them to fall more asleep, so to speak. So for the devotees of the Lord, our Gurudev, our Guru Varga have always instructed that we must always aspire for Sadhu Sangha. But Sadhu Sangha means association which is, in essence, going to pull me forward, upward, going to increase my devotion to Krishna. So many people can do Kirtan externally. Our Gurudev told us, when they're doing their Kirtan, put Mahaprabhu's instruments down, do not even clap your hands or use your voice in that Kirtan. You cannot use Mahaprabhu's instruments in that Kirtan. But if a Mayavadi is even chanting the names of Krishna, also we should not join that Kirtan. It's not favorable for bhakti. Not favorable for bhakti. And that's quite difficult. It's like, what? But they're chanting Hare Krishna. It's different if they're joining your Kirtan. But if they're doing a Kirtan, what is the mood underneath it? We are using the name of Krishna to remove Krishna and to remove Radhika, to remove the bhaktas, to remove bhakti, to remove the personality of God. Then that Kirtan can actually have a detrimental effect in our heart. In the same way that hearing Rasalila from someone whose heart is full of lust will have the effect of increasing material lust in one's heart. But hearing Rasalila from someone whose heart is completely free from any mundane lust, who has awakened their tat bhav chatmika kamanuga bhakti, by hearing from those persons, then the lust in the heart, the mundane lust in the heart, will be converted to transcendental love, kamatmika prem. The same subject matter spoken by two extremes of conceptions will have two extremes of results. So that is why our acharyas, our scriptures are always recommending Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastre Koi, Labamatra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Always associate with those who are devoted to the Lord, who are superior, who are senior. Senior doesn't mean older. Senior means whose depth of bhakti, whose adherence to the teachings and the lotus feet of their guru, who is making that endeavor, who is actually increasing in their bhakti and far superior to me. I should take that association in a submissive way for my benefit and avoid asat sangha. As Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, asat sangha tyag, reject what is unfavorable for bhakti. And it might even be with the facade of bhakti. That's the difficult thing. Bhaktivedanta Thakur warns us about it. Kali Chelas, agents of Kali who hide basically in plain sight among devotees, but take for themselves, for their own material pleasure, for their own kanaka, kamani pratishta, but look like amazing sadhus. Be careful for them. Bhaktivedanta Thakur has warned. So asat sangha tyag. Avoid that association which will take my mind away from Krishna, away from bhakti, devotion to Krishna, even if it is in the name of Krishna and Krishna-katha, which will take my mind away from exclusivity of service, nishta, in the lotus feet of my Gurudev. Then that association is not favorable for me. As our Gurudev would say, pranam forever. Pranam forever. So now we're going to call out for the mercy of Sri Nityananda Prabhu in the form of this beautiful bhajan, Nadiya Godrume by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. page 163. Hold on a second, I just need to check. If Krishna takes the singing or the glorification of himself, coming from the mouth of a Mayavadi, like a thunderbolt to his own heart, that personally, how can it be favorable for those who want to develop devotion to him? If it hurts him like that, basically it's against, it rejects Radha, it rejects love, it rejects devotion and personality. He takes it like a thunderbolt to his own heart. So how can that be favorable for someone who is endeavoring to develop devotion to Krishna? If I associate with that conception, it cannot be. That's why Mahaprabhu said, be careful, avoid that, it's not favorable. I recommend that you read the quotes from Jiva Pavana Prabhu. Rudra Gupta posted a question, can hearing Rasalila from pure devotees be equal to reading Rasalila, which is commented on by pure devotees? No. And I'll tell you why. Because the pure devotee is also watching and correcting. Whereas, when we're just reading, we're taking it in passively, but there's not going to be a correction or a chastisement, and we can accept and reject whimsically. The association of the Vaishnava, ultimately, Bhakta Pada Dhuli, Ar Bhakta Pada Jal, Bhakta Bhukta Shesh, Avashesh, Teen Mahabal, by somehow associating with and serving the pure devotee, this is what will awaken prem and greed in our hearts. Reading, we cannot say, is the same thing. So much benefit can come, but there's a lot of weight on us to carry it. That by my own strength, by my own reading, I can become pure. If one has the proper mood, and maybe they're on that level, they might be able to directly receive that message from the Lord while they're reading. That's one thing. But otherwise, the Supreme Lord, Chaitya Guru, steps outside in the form of Diksha and Shiksha Gurus to be able to connect with the Jiva through the medium of their external senses. This is stated in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So there is a difference between reading and being under the personal guidance of the pure devotee. As our Gurudev said, when somebody said, well, all I need are the books, Gurudev leaned forward and, bah, can your book do that to you? In other words, you can read it, but the discipline aspect you may not receive. And that discipline is also necessary. Have you ever heard of anyone just reading a book and becoming a doctor? They also need to be under the personal guidance. When they're performing surgery, when they're doing this or that, someone is looking, watching. No, not that one. No, don't cut that one. Be careful. You can move that one aside and cut the one underneath. Make sure you clip it first. So there's so many different things to take care of. Personal guidance is also essential. Okay. Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. We should always remember that the purpose of the books is to increase within our heart faith in associating with the pure devotees of the Lord. Associating with means taking shelter of, serving, hearing from. The books will bring us to that faith, that shraddha in the pure devotees of the Lord. If you even read in Bhagavatam, practically every single time the Lord comes to offer a benediction to any of his devotees, the one thing they request Not for direct association of the Lord. Please always keep me in the association of your pure devotees. So, I'm going to quote Srila Prabhupada. You probably won't find it on a recording. My father remembered it and told me verbatim before his departure, a couple years before that. He said that when Prabhupada arrived in Dallas, they had all the little Gurukul boys and girls chant Brahma Sanghita for him. And they memorized the Sanskrit, but not the meaning. So, they all stood there with their hands folded and they chanted Brahma Sanghita. Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha. Right, from the beginning to the end. And all of the devotees were so amazed. Oh my God, they have come from Vaikuntha, or, what is it? They're demigods from the heavenly planets. And Prabhupada, he said, do they know the meaning? And he said, we haven't taught them the meaning yet, Prabhupada. And at that point he said, the test of all of their education is that when they see a sadhu, they will fall flat like a stick before him. That means the test of all of our education. The essence of all of it is somehow to come to that understanding and realization. Not Gopi Bhartu Das, Gopi Bhartu Padakamalay, or Das, Anu Das, the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Thank you for your questions. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Patiya Chena Mahato Jivera Karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Patiya Chena Mahato Jivera Karon Shradhavan Jano He Shradhavan Jano He Shradhavan Jano He Shradhavan Jano He Patiya Chena Mahato Jivera Karon Patiya Chena Mahato Jivera Karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan Patiya Chena Mahato Jivera Karon Nadiya Godrume Nityananda Mahajan জীবের কারণ। প্রভুর যজ্ঞায় ভাই মাগিয়ে ভিক্ষা, প্রভুর যজ্ঞায় ভাই মাগিয়ে ভিক্ষা। বলো কৃষ্ণ ভজো কৃষ্ণ করো কৃষ্ণ শিক্ষা, বলো কৃষ্ণ ভজো কৃষ্ণ করো কৃষ্ণ শিক্ষা। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। অপরাধ শূন্য হয়ে লোহ কৃষ্ণ নাম, অপরাধ শূন্য হয়ে লোহ কৃষ্ণ নাম। কৃষ্ণ মাতা কৃষ্ণ পিতা কৃষ্ণ ধন্য প্রাণ, কৃষ্ণ মাতা কৃষ্ণ পিতা কৃষ্ণ ধন্য প্রাণ। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। কৃষ্ণের সংসার করো ছাড়ি অনাচার, কৃষ্ণের সংসার করো ছাড়ি অনাচার। জীবে দয়া কৃষ্ণ নাম সর্বধর্ম সার, জীবে দয়া কৃষ্ণ নাম সর্বধর্ম সার। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। শ্রদ্ধাবঞ্জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবঞ্জন হে, শ্রদ্ধাবঞ্জন হে শ্রদ্ধাবঞ্জন হে, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। নদিয়া গোদ্রুমে নিত্যানন্দ মহাজন, পাতি আছে নাম হত জীবের কারণ। নিতাই হে 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 নিতাই হে। पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। Now we're going to call to Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. I forgot to take my finger. Hare Krishna. And that's in the Hindi bhajan section, somewhere around 360 something. 361. 361. It's almost the same as the other tune. Okay. Sundara Lala, sacira, dulala. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Bhale chandana tilak manoharo, bhale chandana tilak manohara, alakashobhe kapolana mein, alakashobhe kapolana mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Shire chura darshani rale, shire chura darshani rale, mana pula mala hiya parodone, mana pula mala hiya parodone. Pahiran pita patambar shobhe, pahiran pita patambar shobhe, nupurunu junu charanana mein, nupurunu junu charanana mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Koi gavat hai Radha Krishna naam, koi gavat hai Hari gun gaan, koi gavat hai Radha Krishna naam, koi gavat hai Hari gun gaan. Mridanga tala madhura rasala, mridanga tala madhura rasala, koi gavat hai ranganu mein, koi gavat hai ranganu mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein, 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 nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Sundara Lala, sacira dulala, nachat Shri Hari Kirtan mein. Shri Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. And now we will call out to Krishna for his mercy and his blessings. Page 352, Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala. And I was thinking, why did this one come to me? Because there it says, Janaka Suta Krita Bhushana Jita Dushana Samara Shamita Dashakanta Jaya Jaya Deva Hare. O you who are decorated by the daughter of King Janak, that is Sita Devi. O you who defeated the demon Dushan and killed the 10-headed demon Ravan in battle. O Deva, O Hari, may you be triumphant. That is page 352 by Sri Jayadev Goswami. Ha. Sudevi, remember when Gurudeva asked you to sing this one? Shrita Kamala?
Yeah.
What happened? I don't remember. I just remember was Muni Maharaj was singing it?
You remember, Muni Maharaj was singing his tune.
Mm-hmm.
Shita Kamala Kuchamangala.
Okay. Hari.
And I used to sing for Gurudev, Shita Kamala Kuchamangala. And so I was sitting in Mathura and he had Muni Maharaj sing it. And Gurudev was looking at me, and he used to do this when he wanted me to sit next to Kishori Mohan. He would look at me, and then he would kind of roll his head toward Kishori.
Like this.
Like this, he would do that. So then he did that, he looked at me, and he rolled his head toward Muni Maharaj. And I instinctively thought, oh my God, he wants me to go and sit and sing with Muni Maharaj? And so I started kind of saying no with my head, like, no, Gurudev, I can't do it. And Gurudev did it again. He looked at me and he looked at Muni Maharaj. And I was shaking my head, like, no. Like, how can I sit down and sing with him? And then Gurudev just looked at me like I was the fool I am. And he said, learn it.
Right in the mic, loud. Learn it.
Learn it.
So I'm going to attempt to sing it in that tune today, the one that we would sing for Srila Gurudev. Okay. Sorry, the one that Gurudev wanted. Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Hari Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala Drita Kundala Drita Kundala Kalita Lalita Vanamalo Jaya Jaya Deva Hari. It's too low, I have to start over, sorry. Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Hari Shrita Kamala Kucha Mandala Drita Kundala Drita Kundala Drita Kundala বিষধর গঞ্জন হরি কালিয় বিষধর গঞ্জন জনরঞ্জন জনরঞ্জন যদুকুল নলিন দীনেশ জনরঞ্জন যদুকুল নলিন দীনেশ জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে মধুর নরক বিনাশন মধুর নরক বিনাশন হরি মধুর নরক বিনাশন হরি মধুর নরক বিনাশন গরুদাসন 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 সুরকুলকে নিদান গরুদাসন সুরকুলকে নিদান জয় জয় দেব হরে জয় জয় দেব হরে অমল Krishna He 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 Oh Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Krishna He Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. Now I'm going to sing Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite, page 341, calling out for the mercy of Srimati Radhika. Jaya Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Dayite, O Radhe Jaya Jaya Radhe Radha Madhav Jai Radha Madhav Jai Radha Madhav Jai Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Jai Radha Madhav Jai Radhe Jaya Krishna Jai Radhe Jaya Krishna Jai Radhe Jaya Krishna Jai Radhe Jaya Krishna. Vrishabhanunandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani ki Jai. Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki Jai. And now we have come to that point again in our evening bhajan lineup. We have followed a sequence calling out to all divine and transcendental personalities, paving the way for us to come to call out to Sri Harinam Prabhu in the form of the names Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, calling out to Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gaura Hari Bol, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Shinitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol, Shri Gurudeva Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Today that bhajan was going on in my head a lot, the one that was sung by Anup Jalota. Pavana Putra Hanuman, mere man mein basi hai Ram, mere tan mein basi hai. But I don't know the words, I only know that much. But it's quite exciting.
Mine was Nandu's. Jai Hanuman, Jai
Jai Hanuman,
Sri
Jai.
Rama ki pyari Jai Jai Hanuman.
Again. So, Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate giring yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, we offer our Dandavat Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashtotara Shakta Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the same thousands of Dandavat Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Ashtotara Shakta Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga Gauriya Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present and future, including all of you who are present with us today, we offer our Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam.
Radhe Shyam. So today we are continuing the remembrance of the pastimes and the glorification of Sri Ram and his devotees, as we have heard from our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and our other Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, and also what they are referring to. So coming from Valmiki's Ramayana and also from Sri Tulsidas Ji's Sri Ramcharitamanas. So sometimes, and I wanted to say this first, sometimes you find in transcendental literatures, like Brihad Bhagavatamrita, a different story of Kaliya than you find in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sometimes you find in the Brajmandal Parikrama book 2 different versions of how Srimati Radhika appeared. One time in a 1,000-petaled golden lotus in Vrishabhanukund in Barshana. Another time in a 1,000-petaled golden lotus in Jamuna at Raval. How do we reconcile this? First person to write the proper Sanskrit term for the reconciliation of 2 or more different versions of the Katha, which are given by transcendental Tattvadarshi Mahabhagavat Vaishnavas, will get. What are they going to get?
Samosas with tomato chutney and tamarind chutney. Both.
Wow. What kind of samosas?
Cauliflower and pea.
There you go. Full gobi, matar, samosa with tomato chutney and imli chutney. Dono.
And french fries on the side. Why not?
Wow. Okay. Come on. What's the term called when you have 2 different stories and both are accepted by our Guru Varga?
Starts with kalpa, that's all I'm saying.
Come on. We have to wait. Sometimes there's a delay here.
Kalpa? Kalpa?
Oh, Rudra got it. Wait, he wrote it a couple times. There you go. Sorry, it just popped up. Okay.
He wants french fries and samosas.
There you go. Kalpa, bhed. Bhed means difference and kalpa means a day of Brahma. So in every day of Brahma, we know that Krishna appears and performs his pastimes. Just after he does, Mahaprabhu appears and performs his pastimes. And that's only in this one particular universe. What about all of the other universes where the earthly planets are, where the Lord is performing his pastimes? Also, Sri Rama performs his pastimes. And they're not always exactly the same. So, as Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj explained, sometimes there's some variation in the details of the Leela. Tattva is always fixed. It is the law for all time. But there are variations in the Leelas. And this is known as Bhed or Kalpa Bhed. It's not for us to create or concoct anything, but the pure devotee who has divine darshan, who is Tattva Darshi, is able to witness the pastimes of Krishna. And as they are speaking, they are witnessing.
Which is why they're never wrong.
Meaning as they're witnessing, they are speaking. Which is why the 4 defects do not occur within them. Brahm, illusion. Pramada, making mistakes. Carana, patava, imperfect senses. Vipralipsa, cheating others. This does not occur within those persons who are true Tattvadarshi, because they're witnessing the pastimes of the Lord in any place where the Lord is performing them. And sometimes you might have a slight variation. So we see that there are variations in Bhagavatam, from Brihad Bhagavatamrita to Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and maybe between that and Chaitanya Bhagavat, and also some slight variations within Valmiki's Ramayana and Tulsidasji's Ramcharitmanas. Although Tulsidas is the incarnation of Valmiki, Shastra is there. I have to find the Praman, but there's actually verses in the scripture that say that Valmiki will again take his birth in this Kali Yuga and continue, like the Vyas of Ramayana, in the form of Tulsidas. So he has again appeared in the form of Tulsidas and told the pastimes of Ram. Not everything that was told by Valmiki, but so many other details. And sometimes there's some slight variation. So the same pure devotee can also witness the pastimes of the Lord at different times and manifest to us those variations. And this is depending on what they are witnessing at the moment. So this is known as Kalpa Bhed. And so we should also take this into consideration. All pure Vaishnavas have accepted Valmiki's Ramayana, and from what I understand, most pure Vaishnavas have also accepted Tulsidas Ji's Sri Ramcharitmanas. Our Gurudeva was quite emphatic that he is a pure devotee and he has no tinge of any imperfection.
Gurudeva said he was witnessing these leelas
that he was witnessing these pastimes of Sri Ramachandra and sharing with us. So from these perspectives, then we can go forward. If you hear any variation, sometimes people go, wait a second, I never heard that before. Well, that one's in Valmiki's Ramayana. Wait a second, I never heard that before. That can be in Tulsidas Ji's Sri Ramcharitmanas. And I guarantee you, there will be many more versions in the future, and there were also maybe many other versions in the past. Why did I say maybe? Because sometimes transcendental scriptures become lost.
Of their own desire.
Of their own accord. Mahaprabhu went into what was that temple in South India?
I don't know. But
Adikeshav temple.
He came out with two.
And he came out with Sri Brahma Sanghita. How many chapters were there? But there was only something, very small bit remaining of the full thing. And that is what we have received. So many scriptures have also disappeared over time. And what we receive is something. And in the future, because Ram's Leelas are eternal, Krishna's Leelas are eternal, Mahaprabhu's Leelas are eternal, more and more and more pure devotees, Tattvadarshis, will be manifesting these pastimes eternally. And Anantashesh will also be speaking the pastimes of the Lord forever, eternally. So with that, we will request Sudevi to come forward and continue. This is our 5th day speaking on the pastimes of Sri Ramachandra, and I'm very, very excited to hear more. Ooh, I've been sitting for a while. One second. Hare. There's your mic.
Okay.
And here we have Sudevi.
Okay. Dandavat pranam Vaishnavas.
Radhe, Radhe.
Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Sham. Okay. So, yesterday we left off where Hanuman had seen Sita. He saw Ravan going to her, trying to make her bend to his will. And then he gave Ram's ring and Ram's message. Sita began to trust him. And so she began to send her message through Hanuman to Ram. Hanuman, as we heard, became somewhat hungry. He had flown all the way across the ocean. And he was a little bit, maybe not tired, but he wanted some refreshment. So he saw some very nice fruit growing in the garden, and he asked Mother Sita, "May I go and take some of these?" "Oh, my son, of course you can do it. Yes, you should." Hanuman realized that Ravan would only keep Sita in a very, very special place. She wanted to stay outside. She wanted to be far away from him. But he kept her in one of his most cherished places, and that was his Ashokvan. So there, Hanuman was thinking, I know that this must be one of his most favorite places. There are high walls guarding it, and it is one of the most beautiful spots in all of Lanka. So he thought, after I'm done eating this fruit, I should actually check out the strength of Ravan's army. I should see what they're like so I can tell Ram what we are going to encounter if there is a war. So after he ate the fruit, he started shaking the trees, and all of the birds and animals were screeching and screaming. He started uprooting trees and throwing them, and he started making all kinds of crazy noise, and he was screeching and screeching. Immediately, Ravan was told, there's a crazy monkey, and he's destroying your Ashokvan. And last night we heard how Ravan was so attached to this garden that tears came to his eyes. He was so upset, not out of anger, but sadness. My garden. So immediately he sent out so many hordes of Rakshasas. Hanumanji was sitting on the wall waiting. He was like, okay, when are they coming? All of a sudden, he found himself surrounded by so many Rakshasas. He was really happy. Actually, it said he was delighted. It's what he was waiting for. Hanuman is a warrior. So immediately he started picking up trees. Actually, they were some of them were under like, what's that? Like
Bower?
Not a bower. They were, anyway.
Weeping willows?
No. He pulled a pillar out and he crushed an army.
Oh, wow. Under an archway?
Like an archway, yeah. So he pulled it out and it killed many of them, and he had this big pillar and he started hitting Rakshasas with it. He was beating all of them. He was taking trees and smashing them. And many of them, most of them died. Ravan sent out another battalion. He sent out 4 separate battalions to kill Hanuman. And Hanuman, in between time, was just kind of waiting and looking. Well, is that it? Is this, I can do this. Why does an army have to come here? So he was waiting, and more were coming. Finally, Ravan became so angry, he called one of his sons. His name is Aksha. He was one of his youngest sons. And he told him, go out and kill this monkey. This boy was so beautiful. He was actually quite qualified. Let me make sure his name is Akshay. Yes. So he was very qualified.
Beautiful eyes.
He was so beautiful that Hanumanji looked at him and he was like, wow, he's so handsome. And look at his armor. So Hanumanji started fighting with him. They were taking each other and wrestling. And he was shooting arrows at Hanuman. And Hanuman was beating him away with tree trunks. And Hanuman was thinking, I don't want to have to kill him. He's so excellent. What a beautiful warrior he is. He was saddened in his heart. I don't want to kill this beautiful young man. But then Hanumanji thought, when a fire is raging, it's best not to just let it go. You have to put it out. So immediately, as they were fighting, he picked up Aksha and he slammed him to the ground, and his skull cracked open. So many ran to Ravan. He killed Aksha. Ravan was so upset. Tears came to his eyes out of frustration and pain. Then he called his most powerful weapon, his most powerful son, Indrajit, otherwise known as
Megnath?
Megnath.
Is that,
No,
is he
no,
the same?
not Megnath. Megnath.
It's okay. Let's see, Rudra or somebody.
Can somebody please say his Indrajit's other name? I will be calling him Indrajit throughout, but I want them to know that he is the same as Megnath. Is it Megnath? Megnath?
Megnath?
No, the H is before. Does anyone know?
Meghnat?
I should have written it down.
No worries. Just call him Indrajit.
Anyway, Indrajit. This is the one who even Ram fights with, Hanuman fights with, Lakshman fights with. He's very, very powerful. But he had another name. This name, Indrajit, is because he fought with and he defeated Indra. His other name had something to do with, there was some kind of a curse. And when he was a baby, he would cry, and his voice actually sounded like thunder. And it made Ravan really angry. So there was a reason why.
They
but
said Megnath. Meghnat. Yeah, Megnath.
Okay, Megnath. So Megnath, oh, phone keeps cutting out.
Maybe,
is that
maybe
me or
use the mic.
Anjali?
Put it up higher, up. There you go.
Okay, so Megnath and Indrajit are the same, but I will be saying Indrajit throughout, so just so you know. So Ravan sent out Indrajit, and he told him in Ramayana, Valmiki's Ramayana, he says, don't kill him, bring him here alive. So Indrajit goes out and he starts fighting with Hanuman. They were both fighting for a long time and neither could defeat each other. They were like equals in their fighting. And Hanumanji was really happy seeing him, but Indrajit became upset. So he took one astra called the Brahmastra, but this particular Brahmastra was one that would bind that person that he sent it to. So he sent this Brahmastra to Hanuman, and these ropes immediately bound him, and Hanuman fell back. Hanuman was previously given a boon that, what?
I keep saying Meghnad.
That's the name, yes.
Not with the T.
No.
Not Meghnad.
Yes, it's Meghnad, yes.
Or Nada.
Nada.
Okay, sorry. So, who was given a boon? About the Brahmastra?
Hanumanji was given a boon that not just the Brahmastra, but astras wouldn't affect him. So he went back and he honored the Brahmastra. He wanted to honor Brahmaji. So he fell back and he let it bind him for a minute. But then as he was bound there, he thought, I think now is a good time to see Ravan. I want to see how he is, what he says, and maybe I should give him a message. So he allowed himself to be bound, but at that time, many of the Rakshasas came and they bound him also up with regular rope. And it is said in Ramayana that any astra will not accept any other kind of weapon or any kind of other binding method other than themselves. They will immediately, out of an insult, disappear.
Like exclusivity.
Yes, one pointed. They don't like to be insulted like that. It means they're not strong enough. We have to do this. So Indrajit saw, he didn't know that Hanumanji had this boon and he was bound. So he's looking at him and he sees the warrior or the Rakshasas binding him with regular rope. And he's looking at Hanumanji, who's pretending still to be bound and completely knocked out. And he's thinking, that's not possible. He can't still be bound. And he's such a powerful warrior. There's no way that these are binding him. So they picked him up and they brought him to Ravan. Ravan was sitting on his throne and Hanumanji was lying there. And the Ramayana says that Indrajit's walking in really perplexed, just kind of confused, looking at the situation. And so he told his father what happened, but not about the ropes. He didn't, he was just like, so here we have him. We fought and I bound him. So Hanumanji allowed himself to be bound like this. And he was standing now in front of Ravan. And Ravan looked at him and he said, who are you? Why have you come here, you wicked monkey? Why are you creating such a disturbance? What brings you here? And Hanumanji at that time announced himself, oh, my name is Hanuman, and I am son of the wind god of Vayu. He said, I have come here because my Lord, the killer of Kar and Dushan, the subduer of all enemies, Lord Ram, has sent me to search for Sita. And this is one thing that I really, really love. During all of these interactions between the demons and the bhaktas, they're very honest with each other. Who are you? They don't lie. They don't cow down. This is who I am, and this is who I represent. They don't lie like this. And I was reminded of when sometimes within situations, devotees didn't like to say that their Gurudeva was Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj because others would attack them or they would kick them out of their temples and all these things. And I was thinking about that and I was remembering how we all, Kishori Mohan Prabhu and I always felt this kind of mamata. If we got kicked out of anywhere because of Gurudeva, we'd be like, yeah, we're with him, So it was reminding me also that this kind of mood is there. Not that we're devotees like Hanumanji, but it brought back this memory of this mamata, of this mood of this is my Lord, and it doesn't matter who likes me or not because of it. And Hanumanji had this mood that he is my Lord. And when he was throwing pillars and trees at all the Rakshasas at that time, he was screaming out, I am the slave. I am the sold-out slave of Ram, Jaya Ram, Jaya Ram. And he kept proclaiming the victory and the glory of Ram and Lakshman and Sugriva. So he told Ravan, this is my message. Return Sita. You are the grandson of Pulastya Rishi. There is no spot on that lineage. He is like the full moon. Don't be that spot on the moon of your dynasty. You have done such an adharmic thing. You return her. She is your death. Do you not see that? In your arrogance, you have lost all intelligence. Ravan became incensed. How dare you, little monkey? How dare you treat me like this? Because remember, he's quite small at this time. He was bound by the ropes. He's there. And Ravan became so incensed. He told everyone, kill him. So everyone was getting up, feeling really happy. We're going to kill this monkey who made all of this fuss. And at that time, Bibhishan, he came and he stopped Ravan. He said, no, this is not allowed. First of all, he's a monkey. It's their nature to be mischievous and to break things and to do things like that. But first and foremost, he is a messenger, and a messenger is never allowed to be killed. But Ravan at first didn't listen to him. He was like, he was in my garden, he destroyed it. He was speaking to Sita. No one is allowed near her. So he was still so angry, but Bibhishan again and again, what?
Katie posed, how dare you, impudent monkey?
Gurukulis will know this. So he was so incensed. He said, okay, kill him. And then finally he listened. Okay, fine, don't kill him. But he should be embarrassed. Monkeys are very proud of their tails. So I want that you should take this monkey and you should wrap his tail in all kinds of cotton and put it in ghee and set it on fire. And you should parade him up and down through all of the streets at Lanka so everyone can enjoy the fun. Hanumanji within his mind was thinking, for my Lord, I don't mind being humiliated. If he takes me up and down through all the streets of Lanka, this will be very good. Because in the nighttime, I had some view of everything and I got to see quite a bit when I was fighting. But now, without any impediment, I will be taken through all of the streets and I will be able to gauge the army. I will be able to see everything. So Hanuman thought, this is so good. This will be utilized in seva. Another lesson. Just like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when his parikrama in Navadvip was attacked by the caste Goswamis and the Smarta Brahmins, the caste Brahmins, what did he do? What did they do? They came after the whole parikrama. There were elephants there. They came with Molotov cocktails, I guess that's what it's called. And they were throwing them. They were throwing bricks and they were throwing stones. They were beating the Vaishnavas. They were bleeding and running in all directions. The elephants were running and there was nowhere for them to hide. At that time, our Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, he took the cloth of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and gave his white cloth to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he walked out instead of the Thakur to be killed if he must be. Thereafter, it was in all of the newspapers in all of India that this sadhu had been attacked by who? These caste Goswamis, these Brahmins by name only. Not that all Brahmins and Goswamis of this day are like that, but this happened. It's a real history. And so in all the papers, and then people were sending money to the Gaudiya Math. The mission of the Gaudiya Math, why they were attacked, was on the front page of every paper. And like princes and kings were sending money. What can we do to help you? Let's send money. Let's get your message out. They got so much advertisement and propaganda. So when the devotees came to Saraswati Thakur and said, we have to go after them, bring them to court, have them arrested, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur looked at it and he said, are you kidding? No, they have done more work than all that we've done combined. Everyone now all over India knows what our mission is. They know our statement. They know what is the mission of Mahaprabhu. They have done so much service for us? How can I bring them to jail? So this is the vision of the Mahabhagavat. This is the vision of the real sevak of the Lord. So Hanumanji also had this mood within his heart. This can be used for seva. So he began to be paraded around town, allowing himself to still be bound. Kids were laughing at him. People were jeering at him. They were having so much fun, and he didn't mind it. He walked up and down and was putting to memory everything that can be utilized in the service of his Lord Ram. They brought him through the barracks. They brought him everywhere where he could see the whole army. He was taking everything in, quietly accepting. At that time, so many of the Rakshashis that were guarding Sita Devi, they said, "Oh, your friend the monkey, who you were speaking to earlier, now his tail has been set on fire and he's being made to parade through town," and they were laughing. Sita immediately began to pray, "O Agni Dev, if I have never thought of anyone but Ram, in word, in speech, in deed, if I have never worshipped anyone but Ram as my Lord and Master." Oh, and she prayed to all the gods in this way, to Vayu, to the sun god, to everyone, anyone that could help Hanumanji. She said, "Please, let his tail feel like it's been spread with sandalwood paste, and let him not fear anything or feel any kind of burning sensation." Immediately at that time, it came to Hanumanji's heart. He thought, "I feel as if my tail has been smeared with sandalwood, and it feels so cooling." Vayu is there, blowing a soft breeze just over Hanumanji, making him feel so cool. And he immediately thought, it is because of the merit and the prayer of my mother Sita Devi, and because of my Lord Ram, that I'm not being burnt by the fire. So after he had seen, and this is also something for us to remember, that the Lord is my protector and he is my maintainer, because Hanuman was deeply absorbed in seva. So after he had seen everything he needed to see, and he realized the strength of Ravan's army, he saw where everyone was guarding, the 4 places where there were openings to Lanka. He saw everything. At that time, he made himself small to loosen the ropes, and then he jumped up on a wall, and he became very, very big. So big that even the Rakshasas, who especially at night, they become powerful and they can turn into very fierce, huge demons. That's now fuse. Huge and fierce is fuse. So Hanumanji became so big. What were you showing me?
Fuse in German means feet.
Fuse. His feet were big too. He became so big, and he started doing this, right? Slapping his arms. And when he was doing that, it sounded like thunder to everyone. Ki Jai! Everyone was astonished. The Rakshasas, everyone were looking at him like, "Oh, what is happening? What is happening?" At that time, Hanumanji thought, how can I best serve my Lord now? And he thought, I know my tail is on fire. I will set all of Lanka and the Ashok garden on fire. So he started going from palace to palace, from room to room, and he was setting everything on fire. He was setting trees on fire. He was setting everything he could, furniture, beautiful tapestries, anything he could find. He was with his very cool tail, jumping here and there and setting the whole place ablaze. When you read this in the Ramayana and in Tulsidasa's Ramcharitamanas, he's saying how everyone is screaming. They're crying, they're running from their houses. It's utter chaos. And Hanumanji, after he saw it, he became very proud. He was so happy. Then he immediately went to the ocean and he put his tail out because guess what? He felt rather hot at the rear. That's from the tape, the Gurukul tape. He put the fire out, and at that moment he remembered, what have I done? What have I done? In my anger at Ravan and the Rakshasas, I have put Sita's life in danger. While I was angry and I was setting all of Lanka on fire, including the Ashok garden, I never remembered Sita Devi. Could it be that she has been consumed also by the fire? And fear came to his heart. Sometimes it is said that a voice came down, and sometimes it is said that within his heart he realized she was okay. But immediately he went to the Ashokvan and he searched and he saw that everything was ablaze and only where Sita was sitting was left untouched. Then he did pranam to Sita Devi and he went to return back to his monkey warriors who were all waiting for him. Would you please speak something, because this is one lesson that our Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, used to speak about often. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam. So if Kishori Mohan Prabhu will speak a little bit on anger, according to our Gurudev, and what this Leela is for us.
So this urge of anger is very dangerous. I remember we were with our Srila Gurudev in Fiji. I believe it was at the house of Jagannath Prabhu. And it was only 4 or 5 of us, and Gurudev was giving us a class on the first verse of Upadeshamrita. Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jipva vegam, udarapashta vegam, etan vegam, yovishahita dhira, sarvam apimam pritibim sashishya. So he was speaking about Vacho Vegam, the urge of speech. How to control it? One should use the urge of speech in the service of the Lord. This is how to control the urge of speech. If you just stop speaking, this does not control it. Manasa Vegam, the urges of the mind. If you try to just quiet your mind, you can't. It will be thinking of 1,000,001 things. So how do you quiet the mind? By utilizing the mind and remembering the pastimes of the Lord, the glories of His names, forms, qualities, and pastimes in relationship with His devotees. So then Gurudev came to the next one, Vacho Vegam, Manasa, then Krodha Vegam. And then he got very serious. He said, don't be angry. He said, great personalities like Arjuna and Hanuman, they can control anger. But we are not so strong to control anger. He said it will consume us. We will see everything in red. Means we will be completely covered by anger. And it may be that even if any great Vaishnava, any Sadhu comes in the vicinity, you will also curse at them. So don't be angry. And I thought that was quite interesting. He was showing, like, you can dovetail this one, you can dovetail this, but this anger urge, Krodha Vegam, we're not qualified to use it properly. It can burn us up. And there's one history. So there was once Ramayana-katha going on. And we have heard this history. Did we hear it from our Gurudev?
I don't know what you're going to tell.
So Tulsidas ji was speaking. And someone who was listening began to challenge. No, that's not what happened. He was saying that the Ashok grove is full of white flowers. Ashok trees have white flowers. And the person in the audience, he was like, no, that is not what happened. All of the flowers were red. And he's like, no, they were white. And it was back and forth, back and forth. And finally, the person in the audience revealed, I was there. He began to express, I was there, I know, I'm not wrong. It was red. All the flowers were red. And then he revealed that he was Hanuman. And then Tulsidas ji told him, because you were angry at that time, you saw everything through the lens of anger, and therefore you saw it as red. But in reality, it is white. So we've heard this katha.
Yes, I remember.
So from that perspective, Hanuman was thinking, what have I done? What have I done? In anger, I became blinded. I saw everything through the lens of anger, and through that I may have inadvertently even killed Sita with fire. He was, oh no, what have I done? So this anger begam, this urge of anger is very, very dangerous. It is said that we can use it in any situation if any Vaishnava is in danger, or if someone is criticizing the Vaishnava or Krishna. But still we have to be very careful. It can completely consume, and it's so easy to make Vaishnava aparad when one is angry. Maybe not even directly in front of them, but behind their backs. With anger you can say all sorts of very horrible and terrible things. And that Vaishnava aparad will consume us more and more. So it's very important to be careful, to try to avoid this urge of anger. Srila Gurudev used to tell certain devotees who had a natural proclivity to always being angry. As soon as you start feeling angry, drink a glass of water. So immediately they would start feeling angry and they would take a glass of water and drink it. And that moment they would remember Gurudev giving the order. And just by that and the glass of water, their anger would be cooled. Hanuman, yes, so Gurudev explained that personalities like Hanuman, of course we know that Hanuman is beyond all of these things, but he's showing us by example. Hanuman and Arjuna, he said they can use their anger in the service of Krishna. Gurudev explained that Krishna told Arjuna, you have to fight. How is it possible to fight and kill so many without feeling anger? If you are on that level, then, following the order of the Lord, you can use anger in the service of the Lord. Hanuman also used anger in the service of the Lord. But for us, we must be very careful. We're not on their levels. Okay?
Thank you.
Now I have to check and see if we heard that. I can't remember if I heard that particular
I remember
talk.
hearing it. I remember.
See, in Boise, Idaho, Srila Gurudev, when he had those disciples, Janaki and Mukesh, and he installed Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman for them. And he would be telling Hari-katha about Krishna to all of the devotees present. And then he would see Janaki sitting there and he would stop. He would say, oh. And then he would just start telling Ram-katha, looking at her. And she would just be sitting there weeping and weeping as he was telling the Ram-katha. And he would share so many things for her and for her husband. And then afterward he would go back to telling us about Krishna, but he was giving special emphasis, and so he told so many things. I think it was at that time.
I don't remember where, but I remember hearing it.
I heard it there in Idaho.
I'm just going to give a personal example of something, because it's natural for us to actually become angry at things. It's kind of a natural feeling that comes up, especially when we see something that is not right or kind to others. There was once this devotee who we were traveling with, and they had done some really non-Vaishnav-like things. And finally we went and I told this person, we're going to Gurudev, the three of us, this person, myself and Kishori, and I said, because we're not going to have a he said, she said kind of thing. We will all sit in front of Gurudev. We will be honest and reveal our case in front of him, because I can't travel with you anymore. I'm so angry at you. So I was holding her hand, literally holding this person's hand. But yet we were sitting in front of Gurudev, and I said, Gurudev, this is what happened. And Gurudev asked the person, why have you done this? And they said, because I wanted to steal their hearts for myself, to take their hearts for myself. And Gurudev became upset. Why have you done? I have not taught like this. And I kind of covered her. And I said, Gurudev, she's not doing it anymore. And I was like protecting her and holding her hand. And Gurudev looked at me and he said, then what? What do you want? And I said, I want you to take my anger. I'm so angry with her. But he looked down and I was holding her hand. And he said, it is okay. She deserves it. And I said, no, Gurudev, I'm really harsh to her and she's my senior. He said, it is okay. It is good. And he said, because there is no poison in your anger. And then I looked at him and I said, but you put me with this person and I don't see the good in it. I can't find within my mind any good. I've lost desire to chant. I've lost desire to be around the devotees. I'm so devastated by what has gone on. And then he said, oh, you can also be angry with me, but no poison. And I was astonished by that. This is my Gurudev. And all this time I wasn't angry, I was confused. But he was like, it is okay. He even said to Kishori, it's okay if there is sometimes some little argument.
If the Guru is angry with the disciple, or the disciple is angry with the Guru.
It is okay because that relationship is based on love and affection. But if there is poison or malice or any kind of hateful, spiteful mood there, then this is dangerous and it will consume us. Our Gurudev said, like if there's an electrical fire, right, and we go to an electrical fire and we think that we can put water on it to put it out, that water will come in.
The electricity will travel through the water.
Through the water, and it will kill us. So anger is very, very, very dangerous. And that was a very dangerous situation. When Gurudev is saying, you can also be angry with me, that's a dangerous position. And so it's a very teaching lesson that unless our anger is for service, and unless we are able to utilize it without a deep kind of malice, spite, or even attachment, then we should be very, very careful. This is one of the lessons that Gurudev would tell all the time with Hanumanji and Arjuna. They did their duty, their seva, but we cannot. So we should try not to be angry. So Hanumanji went on one hill near the city of Lanka, and he was going to now push himself off as he did before and go and fly again. How many yojans to his friends who were sitting there on the shore of the ocean waiting for him. As Hanumanji was flying back, he made his powerful jump. And again, all of the trees and so many flowers fell because they were flying with him and they fell in the ocean. And then Hanumanji, as he was flying back, he saw that beautiful mountain, Menaka, and he again touched it out of affection. It is said with affection, he brushed the mountain and he continued. When Hanuman was getting close to the shore, the monkeys heard him before they saw him. He was roaring out of happiness. Immediately, all of the monkeys started jumping up. They put their hands above their heads like with a pranam. They were jumping up and down. And Jambavan was going, this is going to be good news. He is met with Sita. And Angada's like, well, how do you know? He said, that is a happy cry. He wouldn't be so joyful and so happy. Hanumanji found Sita. They started jumping up and down. When they saw Hanuman, he became more ecstatic and was roaring loudly. They were taking branches and waving them at him like, we're here, we're here. They were jumping up and down and screaming back at him. Hanumanji was so happy, and he arrived. When he arrived on the mountain, and everything began to shake. They all ran around him and circled around him. They were so excited, jumping up and down. And Hanumanji first offered his pranam to Angada and Jambavan, to the seniors there. And then they sat him down. Jambavan said, we want to hear everything in detail. Those things that are meant only for Ram, you will understand what those are and keep them hidden from us. But everything else, tell us in detail. So Hanumanji began to tell them everything that happened, how he had arrived there, the mountain that had come up, the two obstacles on his path. Then when he landed, about Lankini, going and seeing Ravan, and they were so excited, they were shocked hearing it. Then he talked about meeting Sita and her separation from Ram. At that time, all of the monkeys became still and quiet. Hearing the description of Sita Devi, they were silent and they were listening with great attention. Then he began to talk about breaking everything in the Ashok garden, and then all of the warriors coming and trying to fight with him. When they were hearing that, they became so excited, they were jumping up and down. Tulsidas' Ramayana said that they were feeling as though it was them themselves. They felt with Hanuman's description that they were Hanuman and that they were doing all of it, and they were all becoming really proud and excited and jumping up and down. And then Hanuman said how he met Ravan and they were angry and listening to it, and then how his tail was set on fire. They were shocked. Your tail was set on fire? And then he told, I felt no pain. They were like, wow! And then Hanuman told how he put the whole of Lanka on fire. Again, they were jumping up and down. They were kissing their tails. They were screeching in joy. Then they said, okay, we better hurry. It's over the allotted time. And Angada must be, or Sugriva must be thinking of us. Everybody else may have returned on time, but we haven't. So they're waiting. So immediately they started going back. Everyone was joyful. They were bouncing up and down, going from tree to tree, so excited. Finally, they came to Kishkinda, to that province. Going there, before they reached where Ram was. Before they reached where Ram was, they found the very beautiful Madhuvan. This Madhuvan was a very concealed and a private place of Sugriva's. There was so much nectar. It was a place where it held everything to make the king drunk. So no one was allowed in this Madhuvan. No one was allowed in this Madhuvan. They all looked at it and they were looking at Angada like, come on, we've been gone a long time and we found Sita. So Angada was like, no one is allowed in this garden and it is protected, but we deserve this. So they all were excited. They jumped over the walls and they started ransacking Madhuvan and drinking this honey wine, and everyone was becoming drunk. The guards there were trying to stop them and they beat them up, like really beat them up. The monkeys, becoming drunk, started arguing with each other, jumping on each other. They were having so much fun, swinging from branch to branch, drinking. Finally, the guards went to Sugriva. Sugriva was sitting with Ram and Lakshman. And the guard said, they've all come back. And I don't know what's come over them, but they've attacked your Madhuvan. They beat me up. They beat us all up. And they're drinking and they're drunk. They've gone mad. At that time, Sugriva started smiling. And he sent a message. He said, go immediately to Angada and tell him that I'm so happy that they are in my Madhuvan, that they should have their fill, but they should also remember that Ram and Lakshman and myself, we're waiting to hear from them. The guard was completely confused. You're happy? Anyone previously would be like banished. How dare you enter the king's private garden? And you're happy. So he went back and he offered pranam to all of them. And he said, please forgive me, I've made a mistake. And they're looking at him like, what? And, oh, this is the message of our king. He's waiting for you, but have your fill. At that time, they all became a little bit less drunk. And they realized, oh, we've taken too long. Angada said, it's time we go. You've had your fill. You've been rewarded. Ram is waiting. So immediately they all went to Lord Ram. Tulsidas' Ramayana tells how they were all walking they don't walk like monkeys. They walk standing up. Upright. So they were all walking with their chests out, very proud, as if each of them had accomplished the impossible. Immediately when they went in front of Sugriva, Ram, and Lakshman, they offered their pranam. Hanuman especially offered his pranam. And they called out, Sita has been seen. Everyone became so excited, and Ram began to ask what happened. Each of the monkeys jumped in front of Hanuman, and they began telling Ram and Lakshman everything as if they witnessed it all. They were all interrupting each other, and then this happened, and then this happened. And they were going back and forth, and they were so excited. They were jumping up and down and telling Ram. And Ram was listening to all of them with great excitement, and Hanuman was waiting, and they were telling everything, and they were saying that then Hanuman did this, then that, then that. So then Ram looked at all of them, and he said, "But did you speak with Sita? What did she say? Did she have any message for me?" And they all got really quiet because Hanuman didn't tell that. And Ram was smiling a little bit when he asked it because he knew. And it is said that Lakshman, he turned his face because he didn't want them to see him laughing. So he turned his face laughing, and Sugriva was so bewildered he didn't even see what was funny about the situation. He was like, this is not good, Hanuman should come. So immediately they all stepped back, and Hanumanji came forward, and he began to relay the message. And as he relayed the message, Ram began to weep. He showed the ornament that was given to her by her father.
Oh, right.
It was by her father, and it was actually a gift of Lord Indra, who her father had fought with before. Not fought against, but with. And so Indra was so pleased with him, he gave him this jewel, and this was the jewel that she wore on her wedding day. So it was something that was very, very known to Ram, and it was very extraordinary. There was no other. So Ram saw it, and he became so happy. At that time, he looked at Hanumanji, and he said, "Hanuman, you have done for me the impossible, but I am a king bereft of his kingdom. I have absolutely nothing to offer to you." And then, weeping tears of love for Hanumanji, he said, "The only thing I have to offer you is my embrace." And then he reached out and he pulled Hanumanji to his heart and embraced Hanuman. Hanumanji was being embraced, and he felt, my life is successful. My Lord is embracing me. What more? Is there anything more? Just like once I asked my Gurudev, did Param Gurudev ever give you a nickname? Did he give you any pet name? And Gurudev looked at me so seriously, and he said, "My Gurudev gave me a lifetime of seva. What more? What more?" And then he started telling all the nicknames that Param Gurudev gave him. But that was beautiful. I had seva. What more could I ask for? I was serving my Gurudev. It's the perfection of my life, the perfection of my eyes, my mouth, my nose, my ears, my head, my body should all be utilized in the service of my Gurudev. What more could I ask for? So Hanumanji was embraced by Ram. What more? Then Ram sat Hanumanji down, and he began to ask him all kinds of questions. Did you see what the army is like? Did you? And so Hanumanji began in detail telling him everything, and Ram was very pleased with him, because before then he didn't talk about all of his feats, all of the great things that he had done. But because Ram wanted to know every intricate detail, Hanumanji began to tell what he saw at night, what it looked like, what the fortifications looked like, where the different armies are stationed, how many of them there are, what their strengths are, how he fought with Indrajit, how he saw everything. At that time, Lord Ram said, there are three kinds of sevaks, three kinds of servants. He said, the worst kind of, no, he said the highest, the topmost kind of sevak, the highest servant is that servant who follows the order of their master, of their guru, of their Lord. But not only follows it, they go above and beyond. They do everything that they can do, not just the bare minimum. He said the mediocre servant is that one who could do more, but they only do what they are asked to do. They don't do more than that. They're somewhat lazy. He said the lowest kind of servant is that servant or that disciple who can do some seva, but they don't do any at all. He said this is the worst kind. But Hanuman, you are that highest class of servant, that highest class of personality that not only does what is asked of them, you go so far and so beyond, like that call of duty. You are the best sevak. This is one very extraordinary teaching that we can take into our life, into our sadhana, into our discipleship to our Gurudev, that we should always try not to be a mediocre disciple, not to try to do only what we're told. Oh my Gurudev, you have descended here. You are Krishna's voice in my life. What Krishna, Srila Gaura Govinda Goswami Maharaj would tell this. Everything that Krishna wants to tell you, everything that he wants you to know, he is telling by the lips, by the words, by the mouth of Sri Gurudev. Everything he wants you to know, this is the medium by which he is telling you. My Gurudev, who is sent by Krishna, who is Krishna's mercy. I need to go above and beyond the call of duty for you. You have heard my cry since time immemorial, suffering in this sangsar, again and again, birth, disease, old age and death, birth, disease, old age and death, again and again. I have done this since time immemorial, and finally, you have heard my bleeding heart. You have heard the cry of my Atma. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj says, this is the sound of the jiva crying for Krishna. Why would we want to be a mediocre, reciprocative person? Why would we only do the bare minimum? Krishna has melted. His heart is melted into the form of Sri Gurudev. And he stands in front of us. Or that book of that Vaishnava is sitting in front of us. In all different kinds of ways, the Vaishnavas have appeared. Do I want to reciprocate, or do I want to be a mediocre kind of person that only does what you ask? Or should I go above and beyond that? Should I try to do better? Oh, it's Ekadashi. Oh, I'm just going to have goranga potatoes with cheese and cream, and I'm going to have
fruit salad with cream.
With cream, and I'm going to have potatoes with butter, and I'm going to do all of these really opulent things that I don't even do every other day. No, I'm going to take only roots and fruits. I'm going to try to go even above and beyond that. I'm going to try to do Nirjali Ekadasi. I will try to do those things that will be pleasing to you, that will show that somehow or other, even though I have incurred a hopeless weight of debt because I have no way to repay you, through my endeavor I will show you how much your mercy means to me. I will try to reciprocate by showing you, by words, by thoughts, by deeds, by activities. What comes out of my mouth should be those things I have heard from you, not the things of this mundane world. I know even now people try to goad me into fighting with them about vaccines or about COVID and all of these Kali Yuga agendas. But my Gurudev put me in touch with everyone I know. I wouldn't know anyone that I know, well, maybe Katie, maybe a few people I do know before I met my Gurudev, but most everybody of thousands of people that I know and that know me, I know them because my Gurudev made me a preacher, told me you should go, and on my behalf, You should inspire my children. Now we're speaking about vaccines. We're speaking about all of these things. And fighting. Because all you're doing is fighting people's minds. Is that going to be pleasing to my Gurudev? Will that enliven my Gurudev's disciples to chant their Harinam more? To dive deeper into the ocean of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that they have given us? What is my duty as a disciple, as a sevak of my Gurudev? To engage people in the crap of this world that will only get worse and worse as Kali Yuga progresses? Is that my duty?
No.
Am I a qualified scientist and doctor to give anybody recommendations? No. But am I qualified to repeat the order and the mission and the message of my Gurudev and my Guruvar? No, but because he ordered me to do that, then that is what I am meant to do. Anything else would be a great disservice and digression.
Right.
If we find that people are doing that and they're not preaching about Krishna, this is digressing. And this is Kali Yuga agenda. Taking the minds and the hearts of the devotees to the stool of this world. When we have all been empowered. How? We have heard about Krishna. We know the Mahamantra. We know about Radhika and Krishna. We've heard of Radhakund. We've heard of Mahaprabhu. Ram, Hanuman. We have so much to talk about. We have so much. What we do with our bodies, do we talk to anyone else about? Do I talk to you about the medicines I'm taking? Do I talk to you about what foods I can take? Do we talk about the toothpaste I use? Is that anybody's business? Give your opinion if somebody wants it, no problem. But that is not what we are supposed to be doing. We are supposed to remind each other, go above and beyond. Remind each other of our Gurudev, remind each other of Krishna. Don't get lost and pulled down to the mental stool of others and the stool of this world. We are meant for higher things. We are meant for the greatest things. And what is that? Eternal servitude to Srimati Radhika and Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. There is nothing that is more important to discuss. When death is closing all around us, just like Hanumanji, it looked as if death was closing all around him. Rakshasas with sharp teeth, with tridents, with spears, with bows and arrows. They're all coming out to attack and kill him. And he stood up and he was proclaiming the glories of Ram to each and every one of them. Jai Ram, Jai Ram. And he did his seva. He didn't sit there and debate with him about the difference between the devas and the demons and all other things that they could talk about. He didn't do any of this. He proclaimed the glories of Ram and he did his service. And he went above and beyond the call of duty. That is what we are supposed to do. That is what we are meant for. We have come in contact with such beauty. We have come in contact with the end of our samsara. Do we want to meditate and dive back into samsara, having come to the lake of nectar, to Jamunaji, eternal, beautiful servitude and life at the feet of our Gurudev? Or do we want to dive into the stool and the sewage of this material world? We should think about this. Any moment not spent toward our service to Guru and Krishna is spent toward death. Because it's not uplifting us to remember Hari Guru and Vaishnavas.
Prabhupada said the moment you are not Krishnamoy, means absorbed in Krishna, Maya will start to flood that place. And then you will become Mayamoy.
Mayamoy.
Maya. We must always be absorbing our consciousness, our minds, our everything in Krishna.
We don't know anything. This world is Maya. It is full of all kinds of tricks, all kinds of delusions and illusions. But we do know truth, absolute truth. Truth of this world is relative because everyone has their opinions and it's constantly changing and it's constantly being debunked or put above. But what we do know is Ram. We know about Krishna. We know about Mahaprabhu. We know about the absolute truth. Why waste our time on anything else? Why? Okay, sorry about that. Kind of went off on one.
No, it's important. It's the disciple and servant tattva. It is essential.
So during this same time, when Ram is figuring out what they're going to do, and they start realizing, okay, now we have to get to Lanka. How will we get there? They all started going toward the ocean. Going toward the ocean, Ram became despondent. How will we cross it? It's quite impossible. There's such a huge army, and we know that only Hanumanji has basically the adhikar to get there, fight, and get back. How will I get there? What will we do? They were trying to console Ram in so many different ways. And while this was going on, Ravan called an assembly of all of his ministers and his chief warriors. And he was discussing with them. Now my spies have told me that Ram is on the bank or the shore of the ocean, and he's thinking of ways to cross. We have to figure out what we should do. At that time, Kumbhakarna was awake. It was his one day.
Who's Kumbhakarna?
Ravan's younger brother, but so immensely huge. We'll get to Kumbhakarna after, but he's Ravan's younger brother, and he is the giant of all giants. So much so that he was cursed that he could only be awake one day out of the year, and he would have to sleep 6 months at a time. So Kumbhakarna was there, and he was hearing Ravan speak, and Ravan was saying, so I've taken Sita, but I refuse to give her back. So now we have to figure out what we can do to fight this army that's coming. And Kumbhakarna was sitting in the assembly, and he said, this is kind of madness. You've already done something without consulting us. You've done something really horrific. You've taken Lord Ram's wife, Sita. She is the mother of the universe. You've stolen her, kidnapped her. And now you're asking us for advice? Now you're asking us to go and fight? My opinion is that you should give Sita back to Ram. You should end this, because it will surely be the death of you. This is, you've done the most heinous thing. Kumbhakarna, although he was a demon and he was Ravan's younger brother, he also was internally very much a devotee of the Lord. But he had a huge flaw, and this flaw was that he was overly attached to Ravan and very loyal to Ravan, who was a dharmic. We saw that also in the Mahabharata, how so many were very loyal to those who were adharmic, and they had to die on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So here we see that Kumbhakarna, he would do anything for Ravan. So Ravan became somewhat angry. He's like, I haven't brought you here to chastise me. I'm your older brother, and it means I'm like your father, and you have to do what I say. So I'm asking what we will do. So Kumbhakarna is saying, don't worry. When the time comes, I'll do my bit. I'll kill them, no problem. So Vibhishan, he was there, and he stood up and he went to Ravan. He's quite younger. And he started imploring him, please give Sita back. He was glorifying Ram, how he is the Lord, and how magnificent he is. And he was saying, basically, you should take her, and you should go to him and beg forgiveness. You will be the end of your dynasty. Don't do this. Give her back. And Ravan kicked him and called him a coward. He fell to the ground. He's like, I don't want a coward in my midst. How dare you? At that time, Indrajit stood up and started like belittling his uncle. Oh, yes. And started belittling him. And he was saying, you know, all of you are talking, Vibhishan started saying, all of you are talking about your prowess. And all of you are talking, Indrajit, and all of your ministers. He said to Ravan, they're all talking about how big they are. But how big were they when one of Ram's messengers, Hanuman, came here and he destroyed almost all of Lanka? Where were they then? Where were their boastful moods then? So he's saying, who are your real friends? I'm trying to give you good advice. They are your enemies. They are actually leading you to death. Huge lesson here. Those who are speaking about and reminding us of Krishna, they are our friends. And those who are turning our minds to the stool of this world or to even enjoyment and all of the things here, they are enemies.
Or away from our Gurudeva and the conception and the teachings of our Gurudeva.
Say it louder so to make sure they hear.
Those who are turning us away from the entrance to bhakti, which means nishta, in the conceptions, the teachings, the moods, the conceptions of our Gurudev, they're also not our friends. They're not favorable association.
So at that time, Vibhishan, he told Ravan, I can't be here anymore. I'm done with this. I wish you well, dear brother, but I'm leaving you. I'm leaving this place. And Ravan didn't care. Go, you're a coward. I don't want you here. I don't want to look at your face. So he got up and he left with 4 of his ministers. And immediately, because he was a Rakshasa, and they are very powerful, and he had siddhis. We discussed in the previous lectures what siddhis are. There are 8 mystic siddhis. And so he could fly in the sky, make himself very light, like this. So he went there with his 4 ministers, and he arrived on the shore of the ocean. They were just waiting in the air, waiting. And the whole monkey army started going crazy. They were looking at them, and they knew who they were. They came from Lanka. So they all started running here and there, and then they went to Ram. And they told Sugriva and Ram. Bibhishan actually told them, I am Ravan's brother, and I have come here to take shelter at the feet of Ram. So the monkeys were all debating. Not just the monkeys, Jambavan. Lord Ram asked everyone's opinion. What do you think of him? So they were all giving their opinions. You know what? Rakshasas can't be trusted. They'll say one thing to your face and then they'll go behind your back. They'll do all kinds of horrific things. We can't trust him. No, 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 no. So then Ram listened to all of them, and then he looked at Hanuman. And he asked Hanuman, what do you say? Because Ram knew already from Hanumanji that Vibhishan is his devotee. So he looked at Hanuman, what do you say? And Hanumanji said, I was there in the court of Ravan, and at that time I heard him telling your glories, and I also heard him again and again trying to push Ravan to return Sita to you. My Lord, I believe he is trustworthy. I believe he is truthful. And at that, Ram told them to bring Vibhishan to him. The description of when Vibhishan comes in front of Ram is so beautiful. Ram is sitting there surrounded by these incredible warriors. Hanumanji is there, Jambavan is there, Dvivida is there, Sugriva, Angada, Nila, all of them.
You just mentioned Dvivida is there.
Yes.
Is he the same Dvivida that was killed by Balaram later?
Yes.
Did you quickly tell that?
Actually, I want you to tell that.
That was not planned.
Well, the thing is Dvivida is throughout there, and for some reason this is the first time I said his name, which is my offense.
So Dvivida, the gorilla, was present at the time of Sri Ram, and he was also one of the warriors in the army of Sri Ram, and he fought very valiantly for Sri Ram. So Dvivida had this nature. Why is his name Dvividha? And what happened to make him such that Balaram later on separated that soul from that body? Dvi means two, and vidha means intelligence. So what was his flaw? He appreciated, respected, loved, and worshipped Ram. But he disrespected, neglected, did not appreciate Lakshman. We hear the same thing in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, which we will go to after Ram-katha. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, if one is accepting Mahaprabhu but rejecting or neglecting Nityananda Prabhu, this is like the logic of half a hen. You want to take the part that lays the eggs, but you don't want to feed the other side. You won't get anything. If you cut it in half, you won't have anything either. You cannot separate Mahaprabhu from Nityananda Prabhu. You cannot separate Ram from Lakshman. There is no meaning to one without the other. Anyone who neglects Nityananda Prabhu, I kick them in the head, Vrindavan Das Thakur says. So Dvivida had this kind of mood toward Lakshman. He was so powerful and he was serving Ram, but he was not properly respecting Lakshman. Later on, in Krishna Lila, Lakshman is also Balaram. Balaram is the Akhanda Guru Tattva, the essence of the unbroken conception of Guru Tattva. So how can one go to Krishna without going to Guru? It's not possible, really. So later on in Krishna Lila, this Dvivida, due to aparad, engaged in asat sanga, worse and worse and worse association. And of course we know that he became very, very naughty, very, very bad. He was doing all kinds of horrific, extreme, nonsense, sinful activities. And he was also quite disrespectful to Balaram. We know that at a certain point he was showing his teeth to Balaram, and Balaram removed those teeth. A big fight ensued, and gradually Lord Balaram separated Dvivida from, separated that soul from the body. So yes, this is the same Dvivida. So I just wanted to share that little bit of history.
Thank you. So they were
Be
all...
careful for bad association. Bad association.
Asat Sangha Tyagat.
Yep. Maybe right in the middle. Here.
Sorry. Good?
Mm.
Okay. Anyone? Okay. Okay. So,
You were mentioning
they were all
warriors.
sitting around Sri Ram. And Ram, the monkeys were all bringing him in very carefully. They had him in front, Vibhishan. And they had him in front, and they were walking up to Lord Ram. It's so beautifully described that when Vibhishan sees Lord Ram, he's looking at his extremely long arms, his greenish-bluish complexion. His eyes are so large and beautiful like lotuses. He's so strong. And upon seeing him, his body felt ecstasy. He became stunned, and he stopped blinking. He just stared at the beauty and the glory of Sri Ram. He was overcome with love, but then also realizing his surroundings with all these warriors. Tears came to his eyes, and he went to the feet of Ram, and he was weeping, and he was saying, I was born in a demon family. This body is composed of ignorance, but I only hold you in my heart. Please don't deny me. Please accept me. Accept me as yours. You are my refuge. You are my everything. Sadvida Sharanagati. He completely surrendered to the lotus feet of Sri Ram. Ram picked him up and gave him so much affection and immediately welcomed him. And seeing his complete surrender, within just a really short time, he asked a few questions to Bibhishan about Ravan and what was going on. And Bibhishan was completely candid, telling him everything. At that time, Ram declared,
I want to make you the king of Lanka.
Wow.
And so they brought him to the ocean, and they actually performed a ceremony, and Bibhishan was crowned the king of Lanka while Ravan was there in Lanka. And there were spies that had seen it, and they went back and told Ravan, who was seething in anger, how dare they? They crowned my coward brother the king? Like, what? He was completely shocked.
That's a lot of confidence that they were going to win the war.
It was so cute. So they crowned him king, and then they began wondering again, how are we going to cross the ocean? So they discussed it with Bibhishan, because he knows about coming across the ocean. And Bibhishan told a history of Ram's lineage, and that somehow or other, the Varuna, the god of the ocean, has some, not necessarily debt, but he owes like gratitude to the dynasty of Ram. So, of Ram, to the dynasty of Ram.
Yes, Ram came in the Sun dynasty.
Yes, Ikshvaku. So, because of that, he said that in his opinion, he believed that Ram should go to the ocean and do some penance and ask the ocean to help him. So Ram was told, and he immediately agreed, I think this is a very good idea. So he went to the ocean and he laid down dhruva grass. Is that a dhurva grass? And he sat down on it and he began to do penance, austerity, praying to the god of water. 3 days went by. 3 days, and he didn't come. He didn't show himself to Ram. There was nothing. Ram became furious. He immediately said that basically, you can't petition someone who is full of arrogance. You have to actually make them fear you. So he stood up, he grabbed his bow, and he invoked the Brahmastra. And he started saying, now I'm going to destroy the ocean and every living creature in it because of his arrogance. Immediately, all of the sea creatures started to feel the burning. And immediately Varuna felt, oh no, I've made a mistake. Immediately he rose up out of the ocean, taking the form of a Brahmin, because Ram has so much respect and honor for the Brahmins. So he made himself look very humble. Instead of like this god, he made himself look like a Brahmin and was folding his hands. And he began to petition Sri Ram. He said, Maya is your deluding potency. Is it any wonder that I am also an illusion? So please forgive me. I've made a mistake. He said, my nature of the ocean is that it can't be parted or open. I don't want to get upset. Christians upset, but he said the bottom of the ocean should not be seen. It is against the nature. And he said it has to have its dharma. It is against it to do otherwise. Please, he said, if you will build a bridge and you make this bridge go across, I will not cause any kind of harm. I won't crash into it. I will be very supportive of it. And then Ram said, okay, I accept it, but once I have pulled my bow and I have an arrow ready to be shot, my mantra, my Brahmastra has already been invoked. Where can it go? And he said, there is a whole adharmic colony that is on the banks of my ocean. They drink my water and they do all kinds of nefarious things, and it's giving me so much pain. Please rid the whole place of them. And Ram, knowing everything and knowing them to be like demons, immediately released it and relieved them of those sinful bodies. Varuna then told him that you have 2 monkey warriors with you. Their names are Nala and Nila. They are sons of Vishwakarma, the architect of the demigods, and they also have the potency to build. They can build a bridge. So he offered his pranam and he went away. Before building the bridge, Ram, within his heart, began to remember his dearest devotee, Lord Shiva. He began to tell everyone, I want to install a Shiva Lingam here. It will be called Rameshwar. And here, I want to worship my Shiva. He said, if anyone says that they are my devotee, but they are neglectful, or they actually make offense to Lord Shiva, then I will never accept them. And if somebody is worshipping Mahadev, but they are neglecting me, he will never look upon them. And so he was actually, Ram started glorifying Mahadev. And so then he installed a beautiful lingam and he worshipped it and he called it Rameshwar. Gurudev's Hari-katha is coming.
It's amazing how much of Gurudev's Hari-katha is intertwined through Ram Lila, Krishna Lila, all of this, and how it's all coming together. So, Sri Ram was worshipping Mahadev in the form of this Shiva Lingam. And at that time, so many people were, everyone who was present, they were glorifying Lord Shiva. Oh, Rameshwar. Rameshwar means he is the Ishwar of Ram. This is what they understood, that Lord Shiva is the controller or the Lord of Ram. At that time, the demigods were like, no. They don't get it. Lord Shiva is not the master of Ram. So the demigods, as a voice from the sky, said, no, Rameshwar means that Ram is Ishwar and also Shiva is Ishwar, Rameshwar. Lord Shiva could not tolerate this. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Vaishnavanam yatha shambho. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Vaishnavas. What is Lord Shiva always doing? He's always meditating. He has mala. He's always chanting and remembering and meditating. On who? Ram. Technically Sankarshan Ram, but also Ram, of Sita Ram. So Lord Shiva is always chanting the name of Ram, 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 like this. So Lord Shiva himself manifested from that Shiva Lingam. And he told all of them, you're all wrong. Rameshwar doesn't mean what you think it means. Rameshwar means that Ram is my Ishwar. Whose Ishwar is Ram? That is Rameshwar. So my name, or this Rameshwar, means Ram is my Ishwar. Ram is my Lord and Master.
The name Gopishwar actually proves this point.
And it is also the same with the name Gopishwar. We have Gopishwar Mahadev here in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Without his mercy, one cannot enter into Vrindavan Dham. How did he get that name? Well, we know that he wanted to witness Rasa Lila pastimes, Lord Shiva. But according to the nature of Rasa Lila, only gopis can enter into that. And only really technically those with parakya bhav. So he wanted to witness, but he didn't have that qualification. So his guru is also Purnamasi, Yogamaya. So he prayed and she appeared to him. And she said, no other male form can enter. No other male form can enter. So you will have to have a female form. She bathed him, dipped him in Brahmakund, which is near Rangaji Mandir and near Govindaji Mandir. There's a Brahmakund, which they made very beautiful recently with Lord Brahma in the center. You can see it if you come here, or any videos or photos. So he came out with a very beautiful gopi-like form, and then he was hiding in the bushes when Krishna and all the gopis were performing the Rasa Lila. Just as if you're in your house, in your nighties, hanging out, doing what you do with your family members, and you feel some presence, some unauthorized person looking through the window, you hear some rustling in the bushes, you feel very uncomfortable. Immediately you cover up, you're like, whoa, what's going on? Who's out there? So Krishna and the gopis were feeling like something isn't right. some presence is not right here. So they stopped their ras and began searching. Who is there? Where is? Any unauthorized person must be here. And they found one charming young gopi in the woods, in the forest. hiding. They asked her, "Who are you?" The gopis asked, "Who are you? What's your name?" He's thinking, "Oh no, I didn't get a name. Who are your parents?" "Oh, I don't know who my parents are." What's your village? What's the name of your husband? Where do you live?
Who are your in-laws?
Who are your in-laws? All of these questions. There was no ekadash bhav. It was just the form. And it's like, oh no. And then one gopi after the next was like, "Let me try." They were asking, and then Gurudeva, the way he tells it.
Tell it.
So the gopi was like, because she was just tongue-tied. "What's your problem? Are you crazy? Wake up! Psh! Wake up! What's your name? What's your husband's name?" One gopi after the next, until the cheeks were becoming big and red and swollen. And then she just said, "Purnamasi, help me, help me." Immediately Purnamasi appeared there. This is my devotee. This is actually Shiva. And then Krishna also came to that place at that moment. And so she said, "Please be merciful." So Krishna, at that time, gave that name. You are Gopishwar. But what does it mean? He's not the Ishwar of the gopis. The gopis had the upper hand. The gopis were definitely the Ishwar. So, he whose Ishwars are the gopis. And Krishna gave him that benediction, Gopishwar Mahadev, that no unauthorized person can enter. You are the guardian of the Dham. You are the guardian of Rasmandal. You are the guardian of Vrindavan. And so if you go to any of the holy places, in Puri, without taking the mercy of, what is his name? In Bhubaneswar, Mahadev, one cannot properly enter into Puri Dham. If one does not take the mercy of Mahadev, one cannot properly enter into Navadip Dham. And if one does not take the mercy of this Gopishwar Mahadev, one cannot properly enter into Sri Vrindavan Dham. So this Gopishwar means whose masters are the gopis. And technically, also, this is the meaning of Gopinath. No? Shriman Rasarasarambi Bangshi Bata Tatastitaha Karshan Venusvanar Gopir Gopinatha Shriyeshtana. Who was calling for who? Who was saying, "Without you I cannot maintain my life, I will die, I need you now"? Krishna was there, calling on his flute, "Radhe, Radhe, Radhe, without you I cannot maintain my life," in deep separation. And that flute call went to the ears of Srimati Radhika, but also all of her manifestations. Entering into their hearts, into their ears, they all heard their own names, even though he was calling Radhe, Radhe. And by the thousands and millions, they all came running there as an emergency to save the life of that person whose name is Gopinath. In other words, they are the Nath of this person. They are the masters of Krishna. And he proved it by saying, "For everyone else, I can repay you for what you have come to me with. But for you, I have no way to repay you. I am eternally in your debt." So they are the masters of this form of Krishna, this Gopinath. So in this case, Mahadev, Rameshwar Mahadev, he came out and he said, no. He told everyone, "You are wrong." The demigods, he said, "You are wrong." Rameshwar means Ram is my Ishwar. Why does the Lord pray to Mahadev? Because the Lord loves his devotee. So Ram is also showing in this. He's showing, without the mercy of my devotee, you cannot attain anything. So first he's praying to Mahadev. And this is also a lesson for all Vaishnavas. We should understand that who neglects, if you read the first part of Ramcharitamanas, you would be shocked. Whoever neglects Lord Shiva, they will never attain bhakti to the Lord. If one is worshipping Lord Shiva for material things, that's one thing. But one cannot enter into Vrindavan even without the mercy of Lord Shiva. So what do we pray to Lord Shiva in this case? Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami has written, "Vrindavana Vanipate Jaya Soma Soma Mole Sanaka Sanandana Sanatana Naradedya Gopishwar Gopishwara Vrajavilasi Yunangri Padme Prema Prayacha Nirupadhi Namo Namaste." He's talking about Vrindavana Vanipate, O guardian of Vrindavan. Jaya Soma Soma Mole, who's got the moon on his head. Sanaka Sanandana Sanatana Naradedya. Narada and so many others, and the four Kumaras, Naradedya means Narad and so forth. All are offering prayers to you. Gopishwara, this is the name of this personality. Vraja vilasi unangri padme prema prayacha. You can awaken, you can give prem, divine love, for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, who are always eternally playing in Sri Vrindavan Dham. Therefore, I am offering pranam to you. Nirupadhi namo namaste. So this is written by our own Goswamis. How can we neglect that person who is like the heart of Sri Sanatana Goswami, always situated close? In fact, Gopishwar Mahadev manifested himself as Bankandi Mahadev just to be close to Sanatana Goswami. What deep attachment they have to each other. Sanatana Goswami was also residing at Chakleshwar Mahadev in Govardhan. How near and dear are they to each other? So we cannot neglect such a personality. We should not approach Lord Shiva for material things. But if we want praying for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, and he can deliver that, then we must take shelter of and pray for that and have this mood toward Gopishwar Mahadev. So very beautiful, very important subject matter. We should not pray to Lord Shiva for material things, but we should pray to Lord Shiva for spiritual things. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai, Rameshwar Mahadev ki Jai.
So how far, where should I go?
Start building.
Okay, it's getting late, so I'm just going to do a little bit since we've come to the what? Okay. Since we've come to this beautiful ocean, and we know that Nila and Nala are actually builders, they can build. So Ram then engaged them. Please build a bridge and help me to reach Sita so I can defeat Ravan and, win her back. So they went and they started getting all of the monkeys, the bears, everyone involved. They said, find big mountain peaks, find huge boulders and large trees, and we'll start making a beautiful bridge. As they were doing it, just as they were beginning, Jambavan looked at Ram and said, my Lord, your name is actually the only bridge necessary, because by your name alone we can cross over, and like with a bridge, the whole sangsar of this material world, right. The ocean of sangsar. And Ram smiled at that. So at that, everyone began chanting the name Ram, Ram, and they were throwing the stones and the trees and all of the boulders in the ocean. They would actually, Hanuman was going and getting huge boulders and he would throw them, and Nila or Nala would catch them, and then they would put them, Ram, Ram, and miraculously all of it was floating.
Wow.
What usually sinks to the bottom of the ocean, everything was floating by the name of Ram. At that time, our Gurudev tells that Sri Ram was even astonished. Sometimes we hear that the name is even more powerful than the Lord himself. So Ram thought, what kind of power is in this name? So he took some stone and he threw it, and it sunk to the bottom. And he thought, what? Why isn't it? And again, he threw it, and it didn't. Was he even saying Ram, Ram?
Yeah.
He was saying his own name. He was throwing it and saying Ram, and nothing happened. So he went into a grove and was just sitting down, trying to understand what was going on. After some time, Hanumanji went there. He said, my Lord, what are you doing? Why are you sitting here? You look downcast. And he said, Hanuman, I saw that everybody was throwing huge boulders and stones, and they would say my name, and they're floating. And Hanuman, yes. And he said, but I also tried to do that. I took a stone and I threw it, and I chanted my name, but it sunk to the bottom. Why? And Hanuman said, my Lord, all of those stones and boulders that are being thrown are being used in your service. But if you yourself are throwing something away, it means it's not being used in service. It has no other recourse but to sink to the bottom of the ocean because it's useless. And Ram looked at him and said, oh, because Hanuman was letting him know that...
Ram was testing it on the side, it wasn't for the bridge.
No, he just wanted to see if it would happen, but it couldn't. And Hanuman let him know, if you throw anything away, then it is useless, it is worthless. If it can't be used in your seva, then what is it worth? Why should it float? It should be burnt or destroyed or drowned. Why? It shouldn't exist. And so Ram thought, oh, how beautiful. So Hanumanji was carrying these huge boulders, and at one point he saw a little squirrel, and he was holding a boulder, and he said to the squirrel, what are you doing? We're doing big work here, and you're pushing sand and trying to push little rocks. He goes, you should get out of the way, otherwise you're going to get hurt. Hanuman had a huge boulder. At that time Ram saw it, and he said, Hanuman, he said, he is trying to do the same thing as you are, and he is doing the best to his ability. As you are carrying a boulder, he is carrying what he can do, and he is also doing my seva. So I consider both equal. I don't consider that because your boulders are bigger, that it is a better seva or it is a bigger seva to me. I consider them both equal. And Hanumanji realized he made a mistake, and Ram pet that squirrel. He pet it. And to this day, they say that that kind of squirrel...
It's like a chipmunk.
Yes, they have them all over here. They're really loud. But they have little stripes on them of white. And they say that that's because Ram had pet that squirrel. It's so cute. So anyway, this is also for us, that we don't need to look at someone else and say, oh, look at how big my seva is. I'm doing this huge, huge... Say you're cooking for 1,000 people, but there's someone in their house cooking for their Thakurji and their Gurudeva, and they're doing it with love and affection. Just because one is big and one is small doesn't mean it's better. It's actually like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is serving with the most love and affection. That is the better seva.
Remember when we approached Gurudeva that time in Navadvip and we gave him like a $600 donation?
Yes, there was one time we went to Gurudev, and one devotee had given like $70,000 or so, I don't remember how much, to help build the mat. They were giving huge donations. And Gurudev said, why so late? And he was saying some heavy things, and I was like, whoa. And then
he said, why so late and why so little? You said you were going to give more, and you're late.
And so then we were sitting there, and I was kind of shy, and Gurudev went like this. And I felt really embarrassed to give our donation. It was only a small amount. So I used to carry it in a bag, and I would pull it halfway out of the bag, and I would give it to Gurudev, and he would take the donation and then throw the bag and say, fill it. So I gave my small donation, and Gurudev looked at it, well, our small donation, and Srila Gurudev looked at it, and he said, so much, how will you maintain? And he said, I'm worried for you. You don't need to give. You both don't need to give anything.
You've already given everything.
Yes.
You don't need to give.
Anyway, and so then I saw that this devotee was feeling very upset. She started crying. And we walked outside, and I said, oh, it's just because you're his disciple, and you know you belong to him, so he has this mamata, he can chastise you. And the devotee said, no, you don't understand. I can spend that much in a week on shoes and clothes, and he knows that, so he accepted it like that. I think it was 10,000, something like that. Anyway, so I just went, and she said, and you and Kishori, you gave everything you had.
It was supposed to be 10, but it was only 5.
Something like that. I don't remember. It wasn't 70 though. So then she said, but you and Kishori gave everything you had, and he accepted it like that. He was showing me something. And so this was her lesson. This is kind of the mediocre disciple or something like that, doing just
The bare minimum.
the bare minimum. So this was the lesson that Hanumanji was given from Sri Ram, that this is equal. They are doing to the best of their ability, and so are you. Why should I see one over the other? Sometimes people do that with Thakurji. When they're really big, they're like, wow, there's really here. And when they're small Thakurji, a little tiny one, they're like, they don't really even give it a glance.
Krishna's less there.
Yeah, like he's less there because he's smaller or something, and they don't even really notice Thakurji because it doesn't gratify the same. But the Lord is present. So finally the bridge is built, and they decide to go over. And actually it's really beautiful. It was explained that Sugriva went and he told Ram, you should ride on Hanuman and let him carry you. And he said that I will carry Lakshman, and they were all going to, or no, Angada would carry Lakshman, and they would all go across. But Ram took the first step on the bridge, and then Lakshman did, then Sugriva, then according to who, and their closeness to Ram, they were walking on the bridge. And the description is so beautiful. This is a very, very long bridge. And it took a long time to build and a long time to cross the ocean.
You can still see remnant of it. With the satellite photos, you can see the remnant of that bridge.
Yes, I think Sripad Madhav Maharaj wrote an article about it in the Harmonist, right? So anyway, they're walking across the bridge, and Tulsidas in his Ramcharitamanas explains how all kinds of sea demons and sea creatures, now we know that way back in Treta Yuga, there were even now, if you think of whales, they're so huge, but they were so big that they would have whales as a snack. I mean, it was all of these huge monsters and alligators and all kinds of sea creatures. And they were all coming up so that they could have darshan of Ram, because no matter what they were in those bodies, they are eternally Nitya Krishna or Nitya Ram Das. So all were coming up, even little fish were coming up and just watching and taking darshan of the beauty of Ram. All were jumping and looking. And it's talking about how the monkeys, some of them were flying because the bridge was so crowded, they would jump up in the air. And some of them, they were going and flying, and some of them were jumping in the ocean and jumping on each of the sea creatures.
Stones.
Like they were stepping stones, and they were running ahead. And Ram and Lakshman were looking at all of it, looking at it and laughing and laughing. Today Kishori and I were talking about it, and I was saying it sounds so extraordinary. But actually, if you see the monkeys here in Vrindavan, they are actually like that. I know that these aren't regular monkeys we're talking about when we're talking about the Vanaras, but they also do have this proclivity to be quite monkey-like. So they were doing this. But in Vrindavan, you see how their lesser counterparts here are, they'll ride on a pig.
Actually, they're manifestations.
Right. They will jump on a pig.
I witnessed personally. I was putting my food trash out, the food, like scraps for the animals. About 50 animals crowded around me, and at that time a monkey jumped on the back of a pig and was literally riding the pig like a horse. And the pig was screaming and running in the zigzag pattern. The monkey was screaming, holding on with both hands and both feet. And yeah, he was doing that.
We see them do all kinds of things here. So
they flip off of trees and dive into the water.
They take monkeys or little puppies by the tail and play with them. They do.
They steal stuff from you, and they will only barter for one thing.
Fruity.
Fruity.
So anyway, we see the way the monkeys are here. So when I was reading it, we were laughing and talking about that. People in the West, they've never seen that. They have to go to a zoo and look at a monkey lying there. Maybe it'll do something funny. But here, they're just everywhere, and they're doing something every minute. So we were laughing, and the same way, anyway, Ram and Lakshman were laughing. Finally, they reached the other side. Thus ends today's lecture with the whole army of Sri Ram arriving in Lanka. So when Ram arrived, he immediately told Angada and Sugriva to tell all of the monkeys to find in all of the trees there were fruits that were in and out of season. They were all there trying to serve Ram. He said they should all go and refresh themselves and rest.
Everything bloomed immediately for Ram.
Everything bloomed.
Wow.
And the monkeys became so happy and began to ransack and refresh themselves. So one thing I just wanted to say, because I kind of went off on one about speech, and I just wanted to say that it's proper for us to, Srila Prabhupada wanted even us as Guru in Gurukul, he said they should not be seen as fools. They should know some mathematics, they should know geography, they should know these things. But the main thing is that they should know about Krishna. And in the same way, we should not be fools. We should do some research, understand what's going on in the world, and make our decisions and live accordingly. Not that we have to sit around and debate continuously these things that we can never win. It will always be somebody talking about something and then new information, and we will lose our time and our energy. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't be aware, we shouldn't do our due diligence and do the thing that is right according to what we believe is right, Haribol. But we should do some research, and that is up to us. We don't need to have huge major discussions. We could do it for time immemorial. That was my only...
The huge major discussion should be Ishta
Goshti.
About our beloved Lord.
This is our main thing. If someone comes into our lives and they don't remind us of Krishna, then we should either remind them of Krishna or pranam forever, or at least until
They're favorable.
Haribol. All right. So please forgive me if I made any offense, if I hurt or pinched anyone's heart. I didn't mean to. I am just trying to serve my Gurudev, because this is the order he gave me. I can make so many mistakes. I am practically a walking mistake half the time, but my heart is in that mood of trying to serve Gurudev. He said, I want that you should nourish the spiritual lives of my children on my behalf. So that is why Kishori Mohan Prabhu does this every day. That is why I'm trying to engage, because this is the order of Gurudev, and you are all his dear children and grandchildren, and all are inspired by our Guru Varg. So if there is anything good, then definitely it has come from our Gurudev and our Guru Varg giving their mercy. So until tomorrow, my Dandavat Pranam.
So you're going to have to start this now, because it's going to cut off in a couple minutes.
Just chant while I'm...
That's what I mean.
Oh. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
It's going to cut off in a few minutes, so we're doing this early.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Jai Jai Gurudev, Bihari Ju ki
Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Sham.
Shri Gurudeva
Ki Jai.
Shri Prabhupada
Ki Jai.
Rupa Guru Varga ki
Jai.
Shri Nityananda Prabhu
Ki
ki
Jai.
Sachinandana Gaura Hari ki
Jai.
Jai Radha Vino Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman
Ki Jai.
Gaura Premanande
Hari Hari Bo.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev, Guru Varga, and the pastimes of Sri Rama.
Jai Ho.
Also, we would like to express our deepest indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to follow the order of our Gurudev, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. What happened after they crossed the bridge? So, we're waiting for that. And Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
Radhe Radhe. Chivriyamo Domani. Hastamanyana.
Astamanyana.
Kal Milenge. And I think, what does Krishna Premavati say? Dr.
Oh, no, I don't
Morgan?
know. No, but yeah. Radha Vino Bihari Ju Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki
Jai. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe